88 inland. And for Tuesday, mostly sunny, a high of 80 at the lake, 89 inland. Right now in Madison, it's 58, Green Bay 57, Waukesha 55, and in Milwaukee, it's 56 degrees. I'm Debbie Loziga, Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:07.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, here's Steve Scaffidi.
And welcome to the special Father's Day weekend edition of the Zepecki McCoshen Political Power Hour. Gentlemen, Joe Zepecki, welcome.
Hello. Good morning.
Bill McCoshen, good to see you as always.
Good morning.
Bill's hair looking spectacular today.
That's why I don't have a hat on backwards.
Yeah, sure.
For you watching at home.
Not too bad.
Passable.
Yeah, not too bad.
Okay.
I don't know if you caught any of the Harry Chapin conversation. So Eric Bilstead of
I caught it.
went to town on Harry Chapin, and I can tell you, looking at the old National Bank talking text line, not a popular take. So his thing was basically that Harry was not the father that he tried to make himself out to be, and his son was nothing like him versus what it says in the song. Your hot takes on that?
I think he's messing with history. I listened to it on the way in, and I'm going to disagree with my friend Eric. I think he's messing with history, and the kid is exactly like the old man.
Pass. I didn't hear the take.
Okay. All right. Well, I laid it out for you there. And first of all, there's no such thing as pass on this show.
Right?
Oh, really?
I'll waltz somebody in here that will not say pass on a very tough question like that.
You can have a wrong take, but you can't have a no take.
Did you see our list? We got a lot to get to.
We got a lot to cover today.
So
Yeah,
let me
we do.
pull up said list.
Buckle up. Tighten your chin straps. Here we go.
All right. So obviously the big story this week, the passage so far, waiting a signage of the shared revenue bill. We've heard a lot of hot takes, including some that say it's racist. We'll start with you, Joe. We have a Democratic governor and a Republican legislature. Is this everything it could have been, or is this just the way it has to be with divided government?
It's the way it has to be with divided government. Nobody gets everything they want. I understand where folks on the left are coming from with some of these criticisms, and it's divided government. You can operate in the world as you wish it was, or you can choose to operate in the real world as it is. That is what this deal reflects. It is not perfect. You know, if we've said it once, we've said it a million times, you can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good enough in this case. Municipalities will have more revenue. There will be more money spent on education in this budget cycle than the last 2 years. There's a lot of good in here. And listen, people need to let some steam out of the teapot and throw their pet issues and positions out so people know where they stand.
Is that what that is? Just that noise?
I think so. But at the end of the day, this is going to get done. The governor's going to sign it. And down the road, the city council and the county board are going to have to do the right thing. And I believe that they will. I'm not going to Eeyore it today. They will find a way to
brand that.
I like that. So, listen, there are two realities. There's divided government in Madison. Joe's 100% correct about that. And the other reality is Milwaukee's facing a fiscal cliff, right? So I don't think the councilors have a real option here. They're going to have to go with this, or they are consciously choosing for the city to go into bankruptcy, which is untenable. So will there be some saber rattling over the next several weeks? Probably so. But I think it's entirely possible that the Republicans will send the governor this bill. They sent him the K-12 bill, which we'll talk about at some point today, yesterday, which means he's got 6 days to sign it, or it goes into law without his signature. I can't imagine that's what's going to happen. I think they'll send him the shared revenue bill here in the next couple of days. And the budget should wrap up in joint finance next week. So those are two historic deals, grand bargains, if you will, that got done with Tony Evers and with Robin Voss and Devin LeMahieu. And, kudos to all of them. I still think they are in the best interest of the state, and there's wins to be had by both sides.
I've had both Governor Evers and Speaker Robin Voss on the show this week, and for the first time in a long time, I got a sense that even though this is a unique piece of all of the bipartisanship that maybe is catching fire to some degree in Madison, maybe this is the start of something. I just have a feeling that there's a not to use this word again, thawing or softening of hardened positions based on political realities in the state.
Listen, I'm trying to be positive today. I hope you're right. I also think there's a few indications this week that they used up all the goodwill getting that stuff done, and now it's time to fight about cuts to the UW and engineering building.
And we can talk about that
right,
if you want.
Yeah.
at the end of the day, this is politics, and that means you got to tend your base, right? And sometimes that means if you have to make a compromise and give a few things up, it means in the next fight, you really have to go a little bit harder to make sure your base knows what your values are and what you're fighting for. That's the sort of give and take of our polarized politics. Bill knows that. If you're not taking care of your base, you got nowhere to turn to in the future.
These two grand bargains are a little bit unique, though. There's an old saying in politics that nothing's done till everything's done. Well, these two things got pulled out of the budget. So they are on a separate track, and one is on its way to the governor's desk right now, the K-12 package, which includes a historic increase in funding for charter and choice schools. So does the governor, can he commit to those before he knows what's all in the budget? The big thing we've got coming next week is UW, obviously, but the tax cut. For Republicans, that's what their base is looking for, is what's in that tax cut. They got a huge win on the charter and choice funding. There's no question about that. So we'll see. That'll be the last thing. Finance was supposed to finish yesterday. That was the original timeline, be done by June 15th. It now looks like it'll be more like next Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe even Thursday. So an extra week. There's some disagreements between the two houses on some of the major funding items that are remaining. And, at the Republican convention in La Crosse this weekend, they're going to have to get in a room, maybe have a cocktail or two and figure it out.
I want to ask you about that's a separate conversation because I want to ask you if this is a return to a more normal discussion and conversation versus the crazy stuff I've heard at some of these things in the past few years. But we'll leave that one for a second. On the issue of UW, it's $32 million in funding.
At least. So the Speaker Voss is saying at minimum a $32 million cut to the UW budget. Governor Evers responded by saying that's not tenable. I'll veto that. Speaker Voss responds to that by saying, well, maybe we'll cut a little bit more than that then if you want to play this game of chicken. It also sounds like maybe there's some distance between Voss and Lemieux, the Senate and the Assembly. So there's some big issues left to sort out in this next week.
There are reasons to raise the temperature, right? You're trying to gain some leverage. And it, by and large, worked out on both the shared revenue deal and on the K-12 package. But the clock's ticking here. There's not a lot of time on the clock until the Finance Committee ends, by next Thursday at the very latest. So they're going to have to get these things worked out. So by the time we're sitting here next Friday, we will have a state budget. We'll pretty well know what's in it and what the governor may or may not do on some of the bigger items.
I spent some time this week talking about the surplus, roughly $7 billion. And what we should do with it. And a lot of people said refund, rebates, tax cut, permanent tax cut. And that clearly will be part of this.
Yeah.
Is there no place for a rebate, refund? We've done it before. Other states are doing it right now.
Yeah, we've done it a couple times. I think the last one might have been under my old boss, Tommy Thompson. And, the truth is it's not the smartest way to do it.
Why is that?
Well, you give everyone $100 or $125.
If that's what it is, yeah, probably not much of an impact.
It's not a big enough number. It's probably better from an economic development standpoint, from a state standpoint to do long-term tax cuts. Those cost more money. You got to build those into the base.
But that's already baked in the cake. That's going to happen. I'm just saying, when you have $7 billion, you can look at it in a couple different ways. We're going to lower the tax rate across the board, or do what we do with the state income tax, whatever that is. And then we could do some other things. And my cautionary tale, and you've talked about this before, when you do new things, new organizations, new systems, or you're adding things to the government, which could be part of this, maybe not.
Right.
Those costs are always going to be there. It's not one time. You have the money now. You might not have it in 10 years, but you're still paying for that stuff. Well, that's the risk of those kinds of things.
Yeah, the amount we've added to every community in the state and what we've added to both K-12 and charter and choice are now in the base. And so those have to be funded forever.
Yes.
Unless they're cut.
That's a risk. That's why when you do things like that, everybody's jumping up and down. There's a long-term play here that I think people should think about.
Now who's being Eeyore? You don't think that these investments are going to grow the Wisconsin economy, grow our tax base?
I'm optimistic.
Steve over here.
I hope so.
But Steve's talking it down.
Look, I talk to a lot of people.
You got to bring an Eeyore hat and move it around the table.
That's right. Like
right.
a dunce cap.
I am not wearing the Eeyore hat. All right, gentlemen. Joe Zepecki, Bill McCosher. We're just getting warmed up on this Friday. If you have a question for the two very smart gentlemen in this studio, the Avenue Studios, Annex Wealth Management, studios on Wisconsin Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. 855-616-1620 on WTMJ.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
The Brewers Radio Network's Lane Grindle sees it all from the broadcast booth.
Down the right field line. This is up, and it is going to fly out of here.
But what's he like off the air?
It's 2023. It's the year of the cheesehead.
Lane Grindle joins Wisconsin's afternoon news every Monday during the Brewers 2023 campaign.
There'd be nothing better in my life than to be the brother of Lane Grindle.
I did not have a brother, so, John, we can make honorary brothers.
Brought to you by Crest Cadillac of Brookfield. Discover them at CadillacWisconsin.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. For Advent, I talked about it. Snoring issues, tossing and turning. Nobody wants a grouchy Steve. Trust me. Ask my wife, Kathy. To put it simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I went to Advent. Amazing facilities, great docs who will have that conversation with you. They'll put you at ease. And after a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed, determined my problem was my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. Short procedure done in one of their great offices. Back to breathing well. Sleeping better than ever. Same thing last night. 8 hours solid sleep. That can be you. If you struggle like I did with all that restless nights of tossing and turning, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com and schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
For over 5 decades, a true American band. This is America. Live in concert. An unforgettable evening with America. July 12th, Riverside Theater. Tickets at papstheatergroup.com. America, live in concert.
Abby with Abby Windows here. If I had $1 for every time customers said, all windows look the same, just give me a price. Well, if that's the case, then you haven't seen ours yet. You're right. Most windows have welds that are ugly, jagged, and look all stitched up, similar to wearing your shirt inside out. I call them Frankenstein windows. If you want a clean, seamless miter that's not inside out, enter our fine line weld technology. Trust me, you'll believe it once you see it. For the best looking window on the market, call Abby Windows today. And if somebody asks you if you know a guy in the business, you can say no, but I know a girl.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
He was a giant when I was just a kid. I was always
Little something
shy.
for the dads. We're all dads in this
We're all
room.
dads.
It is kind of a fun weekend. My wife generally lets me do whatever I want, and I appreciate that.
Are steaks in order on the grill?
Well, we're going out to dinner tonight, so I might have a steak El Mito in Wauwatosa. So
Nice.
looking forward to that dinner. And what's your plans? What are you expecting this weekend?
Well, we've still got some family in town from last weekend's graduation.
How's that been going over at these?
Fantastic. I am well rested and
He
not
knows he's on
stressed.
the radio.
Yeah, they're all listening. Ears tuned.
It's been wonderful. We extended my mother-in-law's stay so she can watch some AAU basketball tomorrow.
Very good.
It's going to be a busy weekend, but hopefully my dad and I will get to go play golf Sunday afternoon.
Well, we'll have a cookout at some point, probably Saturday or Sunday, and I'm going to play some golf tomorrow with an old middle school buddy.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, who's in town from Minneapolis. His kid's playing in a hockey tournament down in Janesville. So
I can guarantee in mine there will be some drinking involved. There'll be cigars involved and some really good food. And I'll see my kids and their kids, my grandkids. That's the best thing for me.
Yeah.
And any father out there knows what that feels like. I don't know where to start on the national side. I mean, obviously we have all the drama in Miami. Joe, you want to take a crack at what Miami tells us about now? In the future?
Sure. I mean, I think there's, per usual in our politics, a lot of noise, not a lot of signal. We're seeing some rearranging of the deck chairs, I would say, on the Titanic amongst the Trump legal team. To Jim Trusty.
what legal team?
Yeah. Jim Trusty, one of former President Trump's attorneys, pulled himself off of a case today citing irreconcilable differences with his client. I thought that was reserved for family court and divorces, but I think the important thing is Judge Eileen Cannon is just sort of getting to work on this. She ordered the Trump attorneys that do exist to get the necessary background checks so they can see the evidence and get access to this classified information. So the wheels of justice are turning, and that to me is the most important thing. The rest of it is just noise. There is a legal process at play here. We're seeing some of the downstream implications. What that means is, because this is a federal criminal case, the civil and state-based cases out of New York are almost certainly going to be put on the back burner.
That's something I learned this week. I was not aware of that.
Out of deference and sort of fairness to the Trump team so that he can mount his defense. He is, of course, innocent until proven guilty. So we've got a long ways to go. Try to drown out the noise. The process continues.
Yeah, I thought a lot about what you said last Friday, Steve, about the whataboutism. And I think it's fair, but I also don't think you can separate it from what's going on, because it is part of the chatter out there, at least on the right, as people say, how is he treated differently than Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden or Hunter Biden? And there's some truth to that. And I don't know that we can ever fully get away from that. But I think the thing that is most important is who is saying what about this from the right. Donald Trump is a lot of things. He was not good at hiring. I think we can all agree on that. Even Trumpers probably would agree on that. But there are three people that were way better than average in his administration: Bill Barr, Mike Pompeo, Nikki Haley, who have all said these are serious allegations.
That word has been said a lot this week.
Right? So I understand the hardcore Trumpers who say those people are ungrateful and Trump fired them. The truth is he didn't fire any of them. And they were unbelievably loyal, and they were the three of the smartest people in his administration, and they're raising some significant red flags. They're not making it personal, which I think is smart on their part, but they're raising red flags. I believe in you're innocent until proven guilty. Let the process play itself out. But this one may not end as well as some of the others have for Donald Trump in the past.
I also think a thing that really clarified for me in this last week is that as the smarter legal minds tore this apart, what they sort of realized is if former President Trump had just given everything back when he was asked for it,
right,
all of this would have gone away. And they, in fact, did not bring charges against the documents that he did return. It was this: he was given multiple opportunities to respond to, the National Archives and to comply with the Records Act, and his insistence, and in fact, his choice to disagree with his lawyers. His lawyers said, okay, they've asked for this stuff, we just got to give it back. And he said, well, no, what if we don't? And so it's his choices, and it's just the counts related to those documents he refused to return after he was told, you have these improperly, please give them back. And he still said, no, I'm not going to do that. That's what he's being charged for.
Yeah, and I think those are the most serious. I agree with Pompeo and Barr and Haley on that he doesn't have an explanation for that yet. What he said in Miami was, there were clothes items in these boxes. There were personal items. He didn't address what actually is at the issue, the heart of the issue here. And in a courtroom, he's going to have to address that.
And the heart of the issue is what we know about these documents is among them were plans for nuclear attacks, simulated sort of attacks against America, or if America was going to attack an adversary,
the highest level of classified documents.
That stuff is serious stuff. We're not talking about love letters with Kim Jong-un.
So do you put any stock into some of the reports that insiders in and around the Trump organization, whether it's a campaign side or whatever he's doing in Mar-a-Lago, suggest that he is sort of feeling the weight of this? In some cases, they felt like he was fearful.
I think it's really hard to tell, but we do see him when he's behind the mic at some of these rallies and stuff. I gotta say, he looked a little low energy. Like the words are the same, but it feels like there's something going on. Now, listen, he's an old guy. In 6 months, you can change a lot when you're 77, 78 years old, or maybe it's the weight of this, but I haven't seen the same kind of pep behind the mic from him.
So there's a disconnect between the polling and what's going on the ground.
Absolutely.
Right? So let me just use January 6th. There were thousands of people there at January 6th who were all worked up about what happened in the 2020 election. There's no question about thousands, okay? At the arraignment in Miami, there may have been a couple thousand, maybe. Some news outlets say it was in the hundreds, not the thousands.
Law enforcement in Miami said 500 to 2,000.
Yeah. So, the notion that, 20,000 people were going to show up and show support for him, it literally didn't happen. And I think the fatigue is setting in for guys like me who voted for him twice. I know you didn't, Steve, but I did vote for him. My wife was a contributor of his. it's exhausting, right? And I don't think Republicans, if you look in the mirror and say, can we do this for 16 months, right? When there are better options and we could play offense. Good campaigns are all about playing offense, not playing defense. And my fear is that if Donald Trump ends up being the nominee, we're playing defense the whole way.
The funniest take I heard on this was not a lot of people showed up because they had plans and they knew they could just make the next one.
Good spot to stop. Quick break here on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Wake up with me. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. Tune in every Monday and Friday at 8:30 for Matzik's Morning Minute. Everything you need to know about all your favorite Wisconsin teams in just 60 seconds.
One pitch, Weimer drives one deep into left center field. Forget about it. 1-0 Milwaukee.
Mondays and Fridays at 8:30 on Wisconsin's Morning News.
We are so excited and honored. Host the draft in 2025. It's a huge event. It's going to be spectacular.
Sponsored by Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac.
Deliciousness from scratch. That's the packing house.
Our top-selling steak has always been our filet mignon, aged to peak tenderness and charbroiled to your preferred perfection. It's a safe bet, but I think it's worth your while to be a bit adventurous, because when you do that here, you're going to be pleased. Try our extra-large tenderloin grand steer filet with that rich demi-glaze. Oh, that's good stuff. Or the apex of juicy, well-marbled steaks, our charbroiled boneless ribeye. Go up and down the USDA Choice Certified Angus steak portion of our menu, and it's hard to go wrong. Your steak experience is important to us, and that's why I hand-select the cuts. I'm Chris Wyken, inviting you to enjoy deliciousness from scratch at the Packing House, a Heritage Milwaukee Supper Club destination, across from the airport on Layton.
Deliciousness from scratch. That's the packing house.
Steak lovers, start here.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Omaha Steaks and omahasteaks.com. This just in, breaking news. Father's Day. Omaha Steaks is sharing an amazing limited-time Father's Day offer with my listeners. When you go to omahasteaks.com, enter the code WTMJ into the search bar. Your dad's favorite gift package, the gift dads will love, trust me, for just $99.99, plus your gift will include 8 free Omaha Steaks burgers that taste like steak on a bun, ultra lean, bold, intense, beefy flavor. Trust me, they're fantastic. Promo code WTMJ in the search bar at omahasteaks.com. Don't wait to get this order. Here's what you get. 61% off Dad's favorite gift pack. Order now, you get 4 bacon wrap fillets, 4 premium air-chilled boneless chicken breasts, 4 boneless pork chops, 4 gourmet jumbo franks, 4 made-from-scratch caramel apple tartlets, and how about this? They'll throw in some Omaha Steaks seasoning as well. All that delicious food, plus 8 free Omaha Steaks burgers for only $99.99. omahasteaks.com, promo code WTMJ. Minimum order may be required. See website for details.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Just baseball?
Bill asking me tough questions.
Yeah, stump the host. Yeah,
I had to think.
I'm winning. 1 for Bill.
All right. On that note, we're going to pause for so I can collect my thoughts on what we're actually doing here. Bill McCosher and Joseph Becky, my guests for the next half hour. From the Breaking News Center, Debbie Laus again.
Thank you, Steve. A construction worker remains in critical condition at a hospital in Green Bay after being injured Thursday while working on a project at Lambeau Field. Green Bay Fire Chief Matthew Knott said that the worker was trapped for roughly 30 minutes before being freed. Knott says he was working in the area of the scoreboard at the time of the accident. Further details have not been shared. A proposal to regulate wedding barns in Wisconsin as part of an overhaul of the state's liquor laws passing through the legislature on Thursday. Under the bill, wedding barns that host more than 6 events a year would have to obtain a Class B liquor license, which would allow them to serve beer and wine. The bill affects every level of the state's alcohol industry, governing the licensing, producing, selling, and distribution of beer, wine, and liquor. Milwaukee Public School students are setting another record for a total amount of scholarship and grants awarded to seniors heading off to college in the fall. The class of 2023 earned a total of $121 million collectively. MPS says students are attending schools in Milwaukee, across Wisconsin, out of state, and there are even 2 attending international universities. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is up 111 points to 34,519. The NASDAQ is up 16 to 13,799. And the S&P is up 13 points to 4439. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Taking a look at your roads with the Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic. We went all morning without an accident. Now we have one. It is on Layton Boulevard, or 241 to be exact, northbound right at Rawson. It's not on the freeway, but it's right next to it. The right lane is blocked on the northbound side of that roadway, so just be very careful as you're making your way through there. Give yourself a little bit of extra time. The rest of the system not looking too horribly bad. We just got a new accident that just popped in. It's on northbound 43 right in the Marquette. The left lane is blocked heading through there, so that's going to be tying things up just a little bit as well.
Traffic is sponsored by St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores.
St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores, Highway 100 and Layton Avenue, 23rd and Lincoln. Great stores, great cause, and unbelievable bargains. You're going to love it. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores.
And your WTMJ 5-day forecast today, decreasing clouds, hazy with a high of 68 at the lake, 75 inland. Tonight, clear with a low of 53. For tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 77 at the lake, 81 inland. Sunday, Father's Day, partly cloudy, a high of 78 at the lake, 83 inland. For Monday, Juneteenth, partly sunny with a high of 79 at the lake, 88 inland. And Tuesday, mostly sunny, a high of 80 at the lakefront, 89 inland. Right now in Appleton, it's 59, Mukwonago 58, and in Milwaukee, it's 57 degrees. I'm Debbie Lazaga, Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 934.
Welcome to our Everyday Health feature, sponsored by the Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. An estimated 1 million people in the United States have Parkinson's disease, and about 15,000 people in Wisconsin have it. It is a chronic and progressive disease, meaning that the symptoms become worse over time. Here to tell us more is Dr. Karen Blindauer, a neurologist with the Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. Dr. Blindauer, first of all, thanks for being with us. What exactly is Parkinson's disease?
Parkinson's disease is a neurodegenerative disorder, so that means it's a progressive condition that affects the brain. And in people with Parkinson's, they can develop movement disorders, producing tremors, among other symptoms. Parkinson's is caused by a loss of dopamine nerve cells within the brain. And dopamine is a neurotransmitter or a brain chemical that's necessary to have smooth movement, but it also can impact cognition, emotions, motivation, among other functions. And Parkinson's actually is the second most common neurodegenerative disorder, falling just behind Alzheimer's disease in prevalence.
Who does the disease affect most often?
Well, because the population is getting older, we're seeing an increased prevalence and incidence of Parkinson's disease. So it's slightly more common in men than women, and the average age of onset of developing Parkinson's is about age 60. Your risk of developing Parkinson's can increase if you have a first-degree relative, like a parent or a sibling who has Parkinson's, but the majority of cases are actually sporadic, meaning there's not necessarily a connection to your family history.
Doctor, why should someone consider the Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin for treatment?
Patients should consider seeing our team here because of our expertise in Parkinson's and movement disorders. We have fellowship-trained physicians, specialized therapists in speech, occupational, and physical therapy, and we also offer clinical trials for cutting-edge treatments that aren't necessarily available elsewhere.
Dr. Blindauer, thanks so much for being with us today. Find a doctor who's right for you by visiting frederick.com/movement or calling 414-777-7700.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
All right, we're arguing between producer and host. Not you guys.
Guests and hosts.
No, you guys weren't arguing.
Stumping Scaffidi.
All right,
Yeah,
hey. Yeah, that was a brain fart, as they say. Brain cramp. All right, a caution, Bill.
Yes.
Who is going to be the candidate for Senate for Republicans to go up against Tammy Baldwin? Who is it going to be?
We have Republican an off-year convention starting tonight in La Crosse.
Are you going to be there?
I will not be there. I don't generally go to the off-year conventions. They're not as fun. They're not as packed. Sorry.
With his social calendar, I'm sure you
fair
can
weather. Yeah,
and your golfing
and my golf game. It's Father's Day weekend. What are they thinking? So
Yes.
no, I won't be there. But I'll tell you who will be there. A gentleman by the name of Eric Hovde, who is a successful, highly successful businessman from Madison. Ran against Tommy Thompson in a primary in 2012, barely lost. Truthfully, we had to drop the hammer on him at the end. He was winning, and I'm telling you a little inside baseball.
Do you get mad when I say he looks like a soap opera actor?
I think that's a good thing.
Probably can't hurt.
You know, in the suburbs, that could work to his advantage.
Yeah. So you think he's going to be the guy?
I think he will be the guy. I think he's going to put a significant amount of money in. David Clark's name gets bantied about. I can't see that happening, truthfully. Tom Tiffany, would obviously do very well up north. I think he'd struggle in the suburbs. I like Tom a lot. I think he's going to continue to kick the tires for a while, but I think at the end of the day, Eric Hovde's in pole position here.
It's a bold pick.
I think the Republican track record of out-of-state millionaires coming in.
Out of state.
Listen,
I've been to his home on Lake Mendota.
The one in California?
I've been to that one too.
Okay, yeah.
Having multiple homes is not a crime. There's plenty of Wisconsinites that have homes in other places.
I kid.
In fact, Tammy Baldwin has a new home in D.C.
Yes,
we're told.
we
learned
where she's been serving for 11 years and is about to run for another 6. That's just smart.
Was she rich before she went to Washington, D.C.? Just a question. No.
Is she rich now?
Well, pricey pad in D.C., I can't afford that. Can you afford that?
I cannot. Okay. So the news here, of course, is Congressman Gallagher taking a pass on running.
Which I predicted.
Right. And I think I had too. Listen, Republicans know that Tammy Baldwin is a formidable opponent.
She is.
And, look no further than an almost 11-point victory in her last run.
Yep.
That's the Wisconsin equivalent of winning by like 30 points, right? We don't really have 10-point blowouts. I think Congressman Tom Tiffany seems to be the most serious about it. It is also clear to me that former Sheriff David Clark is kicking the tires, is sort of trying to raise his profile, and he is sort of carving out his space, which is, I will be a thorn in Mitch McConnell's side. The establishment Republicans don't want anything to do with me. That may give sort of the established Republicans the willies, but there is an appetite among Republican primary voters for that kind of anti-establishment take. And I would, if I was the Republican strategist in the room, I would be nervous about what appears to be shaping up. If you have a Clark run, if you have a Tiffany run, and you have a Hovde run, all of a sudden it's a race to the far, far right, and that just makes it even tougher in the end to beat somebody as formidable as Tammy Baldwin.
I'm a firm believer in primaries. I think they make campaigns stronger earlier until now. I'm now for smoke-filled rooms picking the candidate because Republicans are so bad at this from a statewide level.
Well,
we destroy each other. We make Jim Moody and Joe Chakota, for your older listeners, look like pikers for what we do to each other in primaries. It's insane. I think we ought to clear the field, give it to Eric Hovde, and let his $20 million ride. Put it all on red on the table.
Maybe Clark should run as a Democrat because that's how he did it in the past, right?
He did get elected multiple times as a Democrat.
Yes, he did.
And he did.
And if he wants to primary Tammy Baldwin, that's not going to go well for him.
Yeah. So obviously, a lot can happen between now and
we learn no lessons on our side. We keep destroying each other in statewide primaries.
Well, I mean, classic example is what we just talked about, and the fact that Donald Trump is the leading candidate for the Republican nomination. I don't know what else to tell people. And as I was telling you during the break, I'm looking at a ton of texts here. They don't believe any of the stuff that came out in the Miami arraignment. They don't,
high floor, low ceiling. That's the political reality for Donald Trump right now.
And it's a term that I used and you talked about before. Whataboutism. That's what I'm getting in every response to anything that
Which is why I said you couldn't separate it. It's real. In Republican circles, it's real. People say this doesn't look right. The optics are not good.
What's Gallagher's future? What does he want to be?
Well,
he's a smart guy.
If someone other than Donald Trump were to win the nomination and win the White House, I think Mike Gallagher could easily be National Security Advisor. I think he could be Secretary of State. I think he could even be Secretary of Defense at a very young age. I mean, I don't know that he's 40 yet. I think he's 39, to be honest with you. Military background, incredibly smart. He's running this China committee, getting some good things done. I think he'll be a presidential candidate at some point in the future. I think his ceiling is extremely high, and this was a smart play for him to sit this one out. And especially with Trump in the mix, why get bloodied up in all of that as a U.S. Senate candidate? Because if Trump is the nominee, it will impact the Senate race here without a doubt.
It wasn't on our list, but Ron DeSantis is doing a lot more interviews in the last week or two. Where do you think his campaign is at?
I think it's spinning its wheels. He's clearly the second choice. I'm still kicking the tires on him. I haven't made any commitments to any candidates, but I don't think they've had a great couple of months. They can't quite figure out how to deal with Trump and his supporters. They've taken the hands-off approach. That hasn't worked. Chris Christie is clearly taking a hands-on approach and attacking. That probably won't work. There's got to be something sort of in the middle, and I don't know that the DeSantis team has figured that out yet.
How's your guy doing? Biden going to make it through the primaries next year?
What primary? There's not going to be a primary.
No, RFK.
RFK?
Sounds like he's going to win the first two.
But those are going to be beauty contests. The DNC won't award delegates. There is no primary. There won't be debates. These are not serious
clearing the
candidates.
field for Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, well, what did Bill just say? Primaries are messy.
All right.
Maybe they should take a page out of the Republican.
You guys have figured this out sooner than us. I mean, in the U.S. Senate primary last summer, 3 other candidates got out.
After you.
Cleared the way for Mandela March all in the same week. It was like magic.
Yeah.
All in the same week.
What do we have, 12 Republican nominees for the presidential?
I think we're up to 12 with the mayor of Miami. Yeah.
So are they going to clear the field at some point for somebody else? Because otherwise we'll get the same situation as last time.
Sometime after Labor Day. The first debate is here in Milwaukee on the 23rd of August. The second one is at the Reagan Library in California. I think that's in September. I think that would be the latest where people say, I've been at 1% for several months here. This needle isn't moving. It's time to get behind somebody else.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Trump's not going to be at that debate.
He's not coming to Milwaukee as of now.
Why would he debate ever?
True. Good point.
He hasn't committed to Simi Valley either.
Right.
All right. We got 20 minutes left. They're going to be action-packed. I guarantee that. Well, it's really up to you guys. Joe Zapecki, had to remember your last name there. Bill McCoshen, my guest.
Rough day. How was golf last night?
Not good, Bill. Not good. Thanks for bringing that up. Quick break.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
What's the way to build your wealth?
While going over a new client's statements from one of the big financial firms, I was floored when I read that firm does not offer tax or estate planning advice, because we know that saving money for our clients on their taxes, legally and well within the law, can make a huge difference in their financial plan. If you want to wisely build your wealth, it is my firm opinion that without a comprehensive approach, you're going to be at a big disadvantage. At Financial Strategies, Inc., we're taking a deep dive and creating comprehensive strategies that develop your retirement, investment, and your tax and estate planning. And all under a fee-only structure that means the success we care about most is yours. I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to FinancialStrategiesInc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
It's Father's Day weekend. Just think of how much your father means to you. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Do something delicious and super affordable for your dad and your grandfather. Take them to the amazing Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford this weekend. Today, the all-you-can-eat cod fish fry is just $9.99. It's the best fish fry value anywhere, and it's delicious. Buy one dessert this weekend, and your dad's dessert is free, and I love the desserts at the Mine Shaft. The Father's Day buffet is an all-you-can-eat feast, and only $19.99. It's a feast for your wallet. It's the best Father's Day value anywhere. Your kids are a big part of your Father's Day celebration. They can safely play in that $2 million game room quietly tucked away from the dining area while you finish up your meal. Take your dad to the all-you-can-eat cod fish fry today for under $10 and the Father's Day all-you-can-eat buffet for under $20. Reserve now. Visit MineShaftRestaurant.com. Big food, big fun. Going to be a great time. It's the amazing Mine Shaft.
Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage, available at Navage.com.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Ridgelawns.
All right, everyone. Merle the Squirrel is breaking down what you need to know about Capital's duct cleaning service. Take it away, Merle.
What did he say?
That's key, Merle. That is key. Okay, Merle's dropping truth bombs today. Any questions?
We can't understand him, boss.
You didn't hear him just say how important it is to hire Capital because we clean your ducts with our high-powered trucks and not glorified shop vacs?
Nope.
Or how, if you hadn't had a duct cleaning in 5 years, it's time to stop breathing all those particulates into your lungs?
That's all true, but it sounded like he said me, 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 me.
Yeah, don't make fun of the way Merle talks, guys.
Jason, may I suggest he talks just fine, but not in English.
What? I think your English is great, Merle. Look, here's the point. Nobody cleans your ducts like Capital. Right, and you deserve to breathe clean, healthy air in your home.
Absolutely. Helps with your allergies, removes bacteria.
Now you're just repeating what Merle said.
Schedule your Capital Duct Cleaning today online at callcapitalcares.com.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
All right, we got to do a quick one here. Second another break in before grab bag, which I'll be very curious on what you guys are going to talk about. I have an idea, but education, literacy. Where do we think the state's going to go with this budget and in the near future?
$50 million in the state budget for literacy-related items. There's a separate bill working its way through the legislature that Joel Kitchens, Bob Whitkey, Dewey Strobel have been involved in, John Jagler, and it appears to have hit a snag on the issue of retention. Just so the listeners are familiar with this, 60% of Wisconsin students cannot read at the third grade level. 60%. For African-American kids, it's 80%. It is a 5-alarm fire. I think it's the most important thing the legislature is working on. This session, we have to get this right for the future of the state of Wisconsin. The governor yesterday said that he and DPI cannot support the retention policy. And what do I mean by that? If a kid can't read at the third grade level, by the end of third grade, according to the bill, they have to go to summer school to get caught up, okay? Or remain in third grade reading while they're in fourth grade.
That's the tricky part.
That's the tricky part. But the reality is we have been advancing kids for a generation that cannot read. We are failing these kids by allowing this to continue. And it's something that I'm hopeful can get worked out between the governor and the legislative leadership over the next week because, like I said, it's on the assembly floor on Wednesday. This is too important to not get done and to get done right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the educational system in Wisconsin has decided not to use the option of holding back like they used to. I had friends that got held back. I have family members that got held back for various reasons. Doesn't mean they're bad kids or bad students, just whatever happened. And I think it actually benefited them. But there seems to be this mindset now that you cannot stigmatize a child by doing that.
There are different schools of thought. I agree with Bill that this is incredibly important. And my hope is that the conversations and the sort of disagreements can be let's turn the temperature down on it.
Right.
We all
Absolutely.
want the same thing here, which is kids reading at grade level. Nobody that I've seen yet
for the future
is
of the
trying
state
to play politics with this. Sometimes it's very easy to see these political backs and forth and say, they're just playing politics or appealing to the base. This isn't that. These are well-intentioned differences of opinion on what the best path is forward. There is no question we have got to do better by our kids. And what I think we know, and I think where the governor and DPI are coming from is this isn't a challenge we can test our way out of. And we need to support younger, earlier education, get kids reading sooner. And so I think there's a path here. And my plea to all parties involved is check the politics at the door. There's other issues where you can make it a political food fight. This ain't one of them.
I agree.
We got to have our kids reading at grade
It's interesting. I watched the hearing on Thursday night. I couldn't get in the room because it was packed. Tuesday night, in the Assembly at the State Affairs Committee, and it was remarkably adult-like.
That's great.
And it was not partisan in any way, shape, or form. And there are some partisan members on both sides of the aisle on that committee. It wasn't partisan. It was adult-like. Yesterday, Senator Jagler had a similar hearing in the Senate. Same thing. Senator Larson was a little bit partisan, but overall, people came together and said, you know what, we got to get this right. We have to figure this out. And that's my hope over the next 2 weeks is they can get this right because it's too important not to.
See, that's that thawing I'm talking about. Ever the optimist. Joseph Pecky, Bill McCoshen will hear what's in their grab bag after this on WTMJ.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Did you know just one blood donation can save up to 3 people's lives? Hi, WTMJ Sandy Max here. Please join me and our WTMJ Cares initiative to donate blood to those who need it the most. Join us on June 26th, 27th, and 28th as we partner with the American Red Cross and Gruber Law Offices for a blood drive at the Milwaukee County Zoo. Visit WTMJ.com or text BLOOD to 855-616-1620. You can make a difference with WTMJ Cares and me, Sandy Max.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. I always thought Vince Lombardi came up with that famous sports nugget, but it turns out he borrowed it from a college coach. And now I'm going to borrow it too. Because when there are 10 or 20 offers on a property, there's only one winner. In today's inventory-starved real estate market, you need a Lombardi-level mortgage coach. One who has all the best plays in the playbook. Going with your bank for your pre-approval is like playing in a professional playoff game with the JV coach at the helm. The Lombardi-level coaches at AccuNet are called senior loan consultants, and each one has been trained by me to help you and your real estate agent work as one team to deliver the one and only thing that matters, winning. So if you've been losing with your flimsy bank pre-approval, trade up today to a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval and a Lombardi-level game plan. And if you're just getting started, why not start with the best? Click on the blue button today and get started with your winning game plan at accunet.com.
Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors. CertainTeed Diamond Level Select Shingle Masters. The best of the best. And that's why you can feel confident in choosing us to install your new roof.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show.
Little boy blue and the man. All right, so I'm going to combine two things. Later on in the show, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to give away a 4-pack of Summerfest tickets. The key word is Chapin. Chapin.
Begin and end the show with Harry Chapin.
Yeah,
I like that.
See what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Bookending.
Yeah.
Symmetry. So Chapin is the keyword. I'm only going to give it to you once. So I actually gave it a couple times. That's it. When I give you the cue to call, I'm coming with all these clever little radio terms. The cue to call on WTMJ on this Friday edition. Happy Friday, everybody. You'll have to tell me what that word is, and you will win a 4-pack of tickets if you get it right. If you don't, we just move on to the next caller.
You going to the fest?
I usually go about 2 or 3 times.
Bill?
I will. Yeah, we did last year.
Who you seeing?
We like the sort of small stages with
Side
local
bands.
bands.
Yeah, that's the best.
There's an old guy cover band out of Waukesha. I wish I could remember their name right now. That was so much darn fun. We will figure out when they play, and we'll be there.
I saw Cheap Trick and Rod Stewart. It was fantastic last year. Loved it.
Yeah. You got to be there.
If I'm a little bleary-eyed next week Friday, it's because we had a really good time at Eric Church the night before.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Kicking it
Very
off
nice.
next Thursday night. Yeah, fun. My only thing is that
you and David Clark, you can wear your cowboy hat backwards.
All right, I'll save my stories. Got to get to the grab bag. Joel, you're up first.
A happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. I talk about my mom on the radio more often than my dad. I want to give a special shout out to my father, Dave Zapecki. Many people know him because he is involved in everything. He worked for Milwaukee County for more than 20 years, was on the county board. He was the director of economic development for Milwaukee County, and is so involved in the community, in social clubs and historical clubs and cultural associations. Polish Fest, last week, and it'll be German Fest in a couple of weeks. And I just want to thank my dad for everything he has done for me and for our family. Love you, Dad. Can't wait to see you and hopefully beat you in one of the rare instances when we go play golf. It rarely happens.
Nice.
My oldest son beat the snot out of me last week. Just horrible. So I have two. One is to a father who sadly will not be here, and that's Paris Prokopis. He is
Passed this week.
Had a heart attack. Turned out his heart was too big. And if you know Paris, that actually makes some sense. He was unbelievably positive, infectious guy, always smiling, did everything.
Passionate about politics.
Ran a blog called News Undone. You can still find it.
One of the early bloggers.
His writing was very, very good, and he didn't mind challenging the status quo or the establishment. And he went too soon. He's got 3 kids, one still in high school, that are going to miss him, and I'm going to miss him. And I know there are a lot of conservatives out there, especially in southeast Wisconsin, who feel the same way. So rest in peace, my friend Paris, until we meet again. And my last one will be to my son, Patrick, who did smoke me last Sunday in golf. Single dad, a young guy. I couldn't be more proud of him every day. He, I say my wife and I did something well. He tip my hat to my kid, Patrick.
I'll make it the trifecta of dadness. My dad, Dominic, longtime National Weather Service meteorologist, doesn't know crap about the weather now, to be honest. I know more than he does. But he had 4 boys, and we were pains in the... All we did was fights. And he had to deal with that every day and give us great advice. And my dad-isms are many, because he do the right thing. It's easy. It's like, it's not that complicated. Just do the right thing. And he was a great example, and he continues to be a great example, because he's a guy that was a strict dad, but is the most thoughtful person in the world to this day. And that's something that we all take away from our dads. So happy Father's Day. Gentlemen, to both of you. We'll do it again next Friday. Political Power Hour, one of my favorite hours on the radio. And we do it all week here. This is one of my favorite times to be with you guys. So thanks.
I look forward to Friday.
Have a good weekend.
All right, everybody. We'll take a break for news on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Your pain is likely due to a wear and tear process called osteoarthritis. Now, when you combine that with being a little overweight or not being as active as you'd like to be, you get into a downward pain spiral. At Rejuvenex, we control pain by precisely targeting and treating the areas where your pain lives, like shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, with our powerful FDA-approved treatments that cushion and lubricate the affected areas to deliver long-lasting pain relief. Now, like maintenance on a car, to maintain your relief, our team of physicians will follow up with you roughly every 6 to 18 months. My name is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics. Rejuvenex is in-network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief. Really.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
You got to get to Built Right today for affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses. Built Right.
Do what you want, because a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
All right, you can stop swinging your sword. Our coverage of the Pirates' invasion of Milwaukee starts at 6 with Brewers warm-up. We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 10 o'clock, it is 60 degrees. Going to warm up today. Still some haziness in the air. However, it shouldn't affect your air quality too much today. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstead. Former residents of the community within the Corridor apartment complex, which is located on the north side of Milwaukee, have just a few more hours now until they must make a decision on whether or not to sue the building's developers or take a $5,000 payout. TMZ4's Elaine Rojas Castillo has more.
Residents have until today to sign that agreement and until the 27th to find a new place to live. Now, TMJ4 did reach out to CWC's owners late last night for comment and haven't heard back. But in past statements, they have said that they're offering residents a voluntary termination option. And they've also said that when payments and stipends end on June 27th, they'll have reimbursed residents for all their previously rent paid, as well as fully covered the costs for food, lodging, and transportation during this time.
If former residents take the buyout, they would void their right to participate in that lawsuit or take any legal action down the road. The shared revenue plan now sits on the governor's desk, and as soon as he signs that bill, the eyes will focus in on Milwaukee and Milwaukee County.
The county board is on the clock.
Communications manager for the Milwaukee County Clerk, Eddie Cullen, says the process is underway for the county board to prepare for a vote on raising the sales tax. Spokesperson for the mayor's office, Jeff Fleming, tells WTMJ that's true for the city as well.
There are a couple of opportunities in the coming weeks for the council to take it up.
The proposal would likely start in the Steering and Rules Committee.
They cannot just take them up on what's called immediate adoption, so they can't just bring it to the council floor and act on it.
If passed, there'd be a 120-day period before the tax goes into effect. Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
Federal grand jury indicting the leaked Pentagon documents case suspect. Now, new details about the classified information that Air National Guardsman Jack Texera allegedly shared online while working at a military base in Massachusetts. ABC's Justin Finch.
Prosecutors say Teixeira was illegally accessing and transmitting top secret information for more than a year before his April arrest at his family's home, and that his superiors warned him at least twice to stop accessing information beyond the scope of his primary duties.
Back here at home, a construction worker remains in critical condition in Green Bay. This after being injured Thursday while working on a project at Lambeau Field. Worker was trapped, according to authorities, for roughly 30 minutes before being freed. He was working in an area of the scoreboard at the time of the accident. Still no other details being released as of now. The Whitefish Bay High School baseball team wins its first D1 state championship, beating Hortonville yesterday 5-1. Now, Brewers manager Craig Counsell's son plays for the team. He was at the game. Counsell told WTMJ earlier this week how much he enjoyed watching his kid play in the playoffs.
For any parent who gets to watch their kids, do something they love doing and have spent a lot of time, working hard to get good at it, it's fun to watch the results of that. And so yesterday was just a lot of fun. It was a great just high school sports event and a great setting.
The game was played at the Timber Rattler Stadium in Appleton. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 10:03.
This message is for the person who always gets asked to make the plans, the person others always go to for restaurant recommendations. Next time, you're the one expected to plan the next team outing or girls' night out. Let Milwaukee or Chicago Food and City Tours make those plans for you. Don't worry, you can still take the credit, but we'll handle the planning and make sure that everyone, including you, has a delicious time. You set the date, we'll handle the rest at MilwaukeeFoodTours.com or ChicagoFoodTours.com.
Would you trust a part-time dentist? Then why would you trust a part-time fiduciary? Some financial professionals say they're a fiduciary, and they are, part-time. The other portion of the time they're interacting with you, they might be serving other interests. Do yourself a favor. Ask your financial professional if they're a fiduciary all the time. Annex Wealth Management is. Drill down into your finances with the full-time fiduciary team at Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Hey, it's Father's Day weekend. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Show your dad and grandfather your love and appreciation. Take them to the historic Fox and Hounds restaurant for a free world-class dinner. Buy one dinner, get one free. Even on Father's Day weekend. How great is that? Your dad can order his favorite steak, ribs, seafood, anything on the menu. The second dinner is free. And desserts. Buy one, get one free. The Father's Day buffet is fabulous. It's all your dad's favorite foods and all you can eat. Kids and grandkids under 3, well, they eat for free. The Fox and Hounds is tucked into the Kettle Moraine Forest. The setting is spectacular, a one-of-a-kind dining destination. Dad'll love the beer garden. Check that out. Take your dad to the all-you-can-eat Friday cod fish fry and just $15.99. All other dinners Friday are buy one, get one free. Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the beautiful Holy Hill Shrine. Honor your father this weekend. Reserve now. Visit foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Maybe I'll see you there.
Following their day off on Thursday, the Milwaukee Brewers will try to snap their 6-game losing streak tonight at American Family Field as they get set to host the Pittsburgh Pirates for Game 1 of a 3-game set. Julio Teheran will look to get the crew back on track. Coverage of that game will begin at 6:35 right here on WTMJ. The 123rd U.S. Open got underway Thursday morning at the Los Angeles Country Club. Ricky Fowler with a share of the lead at 8 under par with Xander Schauffele after shooting a 62, breaking a U.S. Open record. And over to football, where the Green Bay Packers officially wrapped up their offseason program on Thursday.
You know, I thought we've had an outstanding offseason, so I'm happy with the progress that our guys have made.
Next up for the Packers will be training camp, which will begin on July 25th. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
WTMJ Johnson and Sons paving time saver traffic. You are going to see some slowdowns on 43, some new road work being done in that area. So 43 southbound. Couple of extra minutes from Brown Deer Road into downtown, so be prepared for some brake lights heading south. Might even see some slowdowns as well heading north, but southbound right now seems to be clogging up there a little bit around Capitol Drive in that stretch. 94 eastbound, Highway 16, all the way into downtown. Now, at the moment, that's looking okay, but a 17-minute ride into the city. 4145 south, Highway Q to the Zoo is on time. That's 15, and 94 northbound looking good. Layton into the Marquette, delay-free 7-minute trip.
Traffic is brought to you by Crest Cadillac. Find them at crestcadillac.com. Crest Cadillac of Brookfield, located on Capitol Drive, just west of Interstate 41. Discover Crest Cadillac at crestcadillac.com.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast, less cloudy today, hazy still, but the air quality shouldn't be much of an issue, at least not as bad as yesterday. A high of 75. Tonight, clear sky, a low of 53. Saturday, sunny, a high of 81. Sunday, a high of 83. Monday, sunny, a high of 88. Tuesday, a high of 89 degrees. Right now, in Madison, 60 degrees. Green Bay's at 57. Waukesha, 58. And in Milwaukee, 58 degrees. I'm Eric Bilstad, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:07.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, here's Steve Scaffidi.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome, 10 o'clock hour, Father's Day weekend. I was reading through the text after our Political Power Hour with Bill McCutcheon and Joseph Pecky, and I got this from Kelly in Greenfield. My husband and I went to Cheap Trick and Rod Stewart last year as well, because I was talking about the great concert I saw at Summerfest. The last time I saw Rod Stewart was in high school with my dad years and years ago, and sadly my dad has passed away, so it was really nice to go back and see him again, and he still kicks butt. I totally agree. So rest in peace to my dad. This is from Kelly. Mark Kuglich. I'll play Rod Stewart on Sunday. And I thought maybe we'd spend a little time thinking about that. Whenever we have any conversation on this show or any of the shows that talk about the events of the day, trends and hot topics and all of that, hot takes, smart takes. We have to put that in the context of how we relate to each other, and certainly the relationship between fathers and their kids is an important one. And I mentioned my dad, Dominic, National Weather Service meteorologist, still doing great, cut hay, and still walking every day with my mom, which is good, keeps him healthy at the age of 87. So I thought we'd maybe entertain some calls and texts from all of you, remembering your dad. It could be fun. It can be epic fails that I'll give you my epic fail in a moment as a dad. Anything you really want to take us to for the next few minutes here. So my epic fail was, and I think we've all done this, right? You go to your kids' events at their school. In this case, it was my youngest daughter, Chrissy, who's now I think 36. That sound about right, somewhere around there. And I don't know the official name for it schools have. They have these boards, and they make a display, and then you go and you look at all the kids' displays. And I don't even remember. I think it was each kid picked a state, and Chrissy will correct me if I'm wrong because she usually listens on Friday. And I went there, and she says I look like I just woke up, which is probably not true because I'm an early riser. But now picture this. This is like let's see, she was born in 88, so this is in the 90s. I'm wearing Packers Zubas. You know those look like leopard pants, only in the Packer colors. And what I didn't know at the time was there was a massive rip down the back side of those suckers. So I'm walking around la-di-da, looking at all the other kids, state portfolios, whatever those things are called. And then she goes, Dad, you got a big rip in the old Zubas. So that was my epic fails at dad. I've kind of gotten over it. And I was wearing underwear in case you were curious. Thank goodness, Carol Kane, that I was wearing underwear on that day. From the 715, happy Father's Day to my dad, World War II veteran. He turned 101 in April of this year. Not just an amazing story, but thanks for your service as well. That is awesome. One of the things that I think we forget about, and let's be honest, dads have been getting beat up for a while now, right? And I'm not saying let me be brutally honest. Moms do the heavy lifting. They're the organizers. They're the doers. They don't suffer excuses. They get things done. They do a lot, maybe less so than in the past, maybe not. They do a lot of the shuffling around, moving kids around, getting into their appointments, keeping track of things. Guys suck at most of that. Not all guys, but most of them. But dads and men, some for good reason, some for not, have been getting beat up over the last, 20 years or so. And again, some because they should, and some because I just think unfair. And, I have to think, even on this Father's Day weekend, which celebrates dads, that I think we could probably go a little bit farther in our appreciation of men. And hear me out. Look, I just laid out the fact that I think women, I always say on the show, women are smarter than men. And that's true. I don't even think it's a debate anymore. Not all women, but most women are smarter than most men. That's a safe assumption that I make. They're certainly better organized. They put up with stuff that men would have no patience for, no ability to cope with, trust me. So I think you have to be aware that as we go forward as a country, as a culture, as a society, as a world, understanding our roles and relationships, not trying to dumb down or kind of scrub away all the traditional roles. Doesn't mean you have to have a dad, doesn't mean you have to have a mom. I'm not saying that. But in the best situation, I think you benefit from both, if I'm brutally honest. 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talking text line. Happy Heavenly Father's Day to my dad, a Korean War veteran and a Milwaukee firefighter who passed away too soon at the age of 49 of cancer. Yeah, I consider myself lucky because my parents are doing well and at an advanced age. You should never take that for granted. And I think about whenever there's a day like this, Mother's Day, Father's Day, almost any holiday, I think about the faces and the family members and the neighbors and friends that I have been in my life and probably in your life that you miss. But you still remember those moments, those funny things, sometimes serious things that they interacted with you on those days. And that's the cool thing about these holidays. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. For the 920, I'm the 13th child. My dad was a farmer and taught me hard work and faith. He passed away when I was 27. Wish I had more time with him. Yeah, that is far too young. I've told the story. I had a Korean War vet, David Pavlik, on the show, and I brought back the interview a bunch of times. And he was serving in Korea, frozen chosen, one of those veterans. And he got news via a message that his father had passed away. I think it was in his 40s, early 40s. Again, one of those strong guys, right? And flew back, dealt with all of that, and then went back to serve. I mean, you think about that, commitments. What are your Father's Day memories? Could be an epic fail, could be a fun one, could be a serious one, it could be just an honoring your father, late father, whatever it is, 855-616-1620. Celebrating Father's Day on this Friday right here on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Hey, Sandy, I still got some time before my show starts. Let's go play some cornhole.
Well, it's nice of you to invite me, Jeff, but I still got to prepare for the news. Plus, who actually calls it cornhole? Isn't it bags?
Whatever you call it, it's all at Summerfest. You can check out Jeff Wagner broadcasting live at Summerfest on Thursdays and Fridays from noon to 3 in the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Mobile Studio at the Gruber Law Office's Sports Zone by the Lakefront.
Cornhole.
Thanks.
Cornhole.
It's WTMJ at Summerfest 2023.
Hey, this is Steve Scaffidi for Educators Credit Union. I know him as ECU, and you can find him all about educators at ECU.com. When you open an Educators Credit Union checking account, you can say goodbye to the surprise fees, hello to a whole lot of perks, like rewards, like cash back, discounts. I love this one, card customization. I have an OC card. I love it. And people always ask about it when I use it. With their convenient digital services and nationwide network of over 60,000 fee-free ATMs, you can also access your account anytime, anywhere. 60,000 is a lot, trust me. Join Educators Credit Union today and take advantage of all the benefits that come with a checking account. Get started like I did. Become a member at ECU.com, federally insured by NCUA.
When summer heat arrives, there's nothing better than walking into a nice, properly cooled home. And if that system's working right, there's not a lot of things that can be more refreshing. But when your AC's on the fritz, it's worse than the pits. And that's when you call the man in the red van. This is Anthony Zanevsky with Quality Heating. We have one of the largest HVAC fleets in Wisconsin. And that means fast emergency service for you 24/7, 365.
Quality heating, quality heating.
I've been fixing AC systems almost my whole life. So when it comes to which system I would put in my own home and which of those I wouldn't, I have a pretty good eye. And that's why I want our folks at Quality Heating talking about Armstrong Air Pro Series AC systems, which have a 2-stage scroll compressor that runs longer, gentler cooling cycles at low capacity during mild weather, and switches to full capacity on hotter days. That's efficiency, and it all adds up. So see the man in the red van.
Quality heating, quality heating.
For over 5 decades, a true American band. This is America. Live in concert. An unforgettable evening with America. July 12th, Riverside Theater. Tickets at papstheatergroup.com.
That he didn't already.
America, live in concert.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Don't forget, last chance to win Summerfest tickets. Not now, though. 11 o'clock hour. And I'm not going to tell you when. I gave you twice in rapid succession the keyword which you need to win those tickets. So if you don't know it, we'll just go right down the lines. We're going to open up the phone lines when we do that in the 11 o'clock hour. Hopefully you were listening at the end of the 9 o'clock hour. No cheating. My show poll is up today on the Twitter, or the twits, as I like to call it. And it's on 620 WTMJ or at WTMJ Steve. And on this Father's Day weekend, what's the best thing about your dad? That's what I asked, and I gave you a few choices. Great role model, 31%. Always there for me, 45%, which is the leader on the course. His sense of humor, 13%, and some comments, which we'll probably get to at some point here. From the 773, thanks for the long-distance listen. My father died at 54, father of 13. Best thing I got from him, a sense of humor. I think you would need a sense of humor with 13 kids. That would be a prerequisite. Jeff from Fox Point. I plan to honor my father, Richard, who passed away in 2015 from Agent Orange-associated illnesses by working out with some of the exercises he showed me how to do when I was a kid, watching movies he and I enjoyed together in the past, and cooking something for dinner he really liked. That's a nice way to celebrate your dad. I love that. 414. Yes, happy Father's Day to my father who also served in Korea. And the one thing he taught me is I owe you nothing now. Go to work. Work ethic. We need more of that. Trust me. Let's see. Mike, my father and I had a great relationship, sometimes very competitive. I came from a family of 10 kids. I was the only one that would hunt, deer hunt, and everything else. So we bonded that way a lot. And my father passed away in 2007, and I miss him dearly. And I've only gone deer hunting twice since then, but that was something I always cherished doing with my father. And I've been hunting with my dad since I was in my teens. So I also have that bond. If you have a story you'd like to share, 855-616-1620. Whenever you talk about Father's Day, or Mother's Day for that matter, like a lot of holidays, it's sort of turned into gift-giving, picnics, barbecues. I'm not saying that stuff's not important. But I loved what Eric did this morning when he was playing some audio from his kids. And, you know, his wife, Angie, was asking about, well, like, what do you want to give your dad for Father's Day? And a lot of them said, and she's got 3 kids, I think the oldest is 16, just not arguing. That's a great gift. And my kids always have, what do you want? Like, I don't need anything. So for me, having a wrapped gift is not a thing that I really need. If you've been around for a while, you got pretty much everything you need, hopefully. And it's just seeing your kids. And we're lucky. Our kids are close by, and I can see my grandkids almost whenever I want. And that's a good thing. So my only suggestion is less on the presents, maybe even less on the barbecue, which I love barbecue, so don't get me wrong. And just more on the conversation and the presents and not the P-R-E-S-E-N-T, but the P-R-E-S-E-N-C-E of being there for each other, father to son, father to daughter, and vice versa. I think that's more important. Michelle from Appleton, happy Father's Day to my dad in heaven. He will go on 19 years this July. One of my favorite things to do with my daddy was gardening. When the wheelbarrow was empty, I'd always get a ride. I was lucky enough to get that wheelbarrow when he passed. Last year, I found out I couldn't get the wheel fixed anymore. Last weekend, I made it into a flower planter in his honor. I think he'd love it. And she sent me a picture, and it looks fantastic. She put some, what looks like petunias in it. That's cool. I saw this very thing. Where was I at? We're talking about mulch yesterday. And by the way, I posted a fake picture of Bill Stead's pile of mulch, and surprise, surprise, that mulch is gone today after having been there for 3 weeks. So don't say a little pressure, a little nudge can't work. But where was I driving around yesterday? And there was a mom giving her daughter a ride in the wheelbarrow. I thought that is so cool. And kudos to the mom for getting out there and getting that done. And as I often remind people, one of my requirements is, and this is tongue-in-cheek, so don't send me texts. When you get a pile of mulch, the requirement is the longest that can take is a weekend. That's it. Otherwise, I'll come after you. Just kidding. Jackie calls us. Hey, Jackie, welcome to the show.
Hi.
How are you?
I have a memory of my stepfather.
Sure.
Oh.
Go ahead.
He taught me how to fish and clean fish. He was such a wonderful man. My father died when I was very young, and my mother remarried when I was 18, and he was the best stepfather for the next 27 years I ever had.
Yeah, and you still fish?
And I honor his memory by going fishing and cleaning them.
Yeah, I love that. And
thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, Jackie. And we had a little connection problem there, but I love the fact that you're sharing that story. And here's a little inside my house. So my wife, Kathy, has a picture of her and her dad, and her dad's teaching her how to fish. And I think Kathy was like, I don't know, 4, 3, something like that. It's black and white, and it's framed on our wall in our living room. I love that picture. Because we all have those kinds of stories, and we've all shared those stories. Sandy joins us from one of my favorite places in the state of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Steve. How you doing?
I am good on this Friday. What's your story?
Great. My story is my dad's been gone for 14 years now, and he was a great dad. And growing up, whenever we would ask him if we could have something, he would say, when I get back from Detroit, meaning he was never going to Detroit, and meaning we'd never get what we asked for.
That's good.
And then he would shorten it through the years. He would shorten it up and say, yeah, when I get back. And so we always hoped that he would have to travel to Detroit under no decision of his own, and we'd get everything we wanted. It was great.
I love, you talk about being witty and funny. That's the best thing about dads, right? They can be serious, and they can, be the disciplinarian in some cases, but we remember the funny stories or the goofy things that dads did or the faces they made. And thanks for taking the time to call us, Sandy. I love that. We'll take a break here. Still time to get in. If you have a Father's Day story, epic fail, humorous story like Sandy's, I'm going to Detroit. I've been to Detroit. I'm not going to Detroit. I'm just kidding. I like Detroit. All right, we'll take a break here. Father's Day coming up at 10:35. Virtual baseball sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Always fun. Well, somebody will win a chance. Well, they'll win a WTMJ prize package, but a chance to be entered into a drawing for a $500 gift card from Siding Unlimited. How cool is that? So, Father's Day weekend. We're talking about on WTMJ.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me every Saturday at noon for Experience Wisconsin, where we check in with communities across the state for the best and brightest spots around our great state, all the things that are going on. This week, we're joined by Road America's John Everett.
You can literally see history on track, some of the greatest cars from every form of racing from every era.
And we'll also head to the town of Brookfield. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturday at noon right here on 620 WTMJ.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 48-ounce carton selected varieties Cedar Crest Premium Ice Cream, $3.99. 3-count box selected varieties Magnum Ice Cream Novelties, $4.49. 64-ounce bottle Indian Summer Apple Juice or Cider, 2 for $4. 5.6 to 5.9-ounce box selected varieties Cheetos Mac and Cheese, 2 for $3.
Hey, why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take them out at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience from Century Foods. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 26th.
June is here, and as a Wisconsinite, you know that means nothing but blue skies and sunshine. So when the rubber meets the road, you better be ready for the rising temperatures ahead. This is Jim Griffin. Don't worry whether you are a new or existing customer on the north, west, or south side of town. We'll make vehicle maintenance easy peasy and breezy with summer service specials. We'll change your oil, inspect and rotate your tires, check the battery and air filter, give it a complete multi-point inspection, check your AC, and even change your wiper blades, all for $129.95. During the month of June, make sure not to fizzle when the summer starts to sizzle. Be ready for the roads with as much confidence and peace of mind as possible when you take advantage of the summer service specials, good at all 5 Griffin dealerships.
You're listening to the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Entertaining your stories and thoughts about Father's Day. Lisa joins us from Mequon. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Steve. Good morning.
Good morning.
And happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And can you hear me over my radio?
I can. Yes,
okay.
perfectly.
All right, great. Quick, I'll try to make this story quick. Scene, 1977. Just bought a new house, Hales Corners. 5 children. My parents bought a big pool for the yard, and my father and brother were putting a big cedar fence around the pool, but had yet to build the deck. So the instructions were, use the ladder, do not climb over the pool. But friends were over, and someone did, and they kicked a small hole where the filter was, thus creating a tear in the liner. And while we're swimming at the bottom of the pool, we've all were sucked out by this massive hole, and the entire pool tsunami and went into my parents' giant organic garden, of which you can appreciate.
Oh, yes.
And a kid was riding by on a banana seed bike and was wiped out. And I looked over at my father, whose mouth was agape, and he had a hammer in his hand as he was building the fence, and threw that hammer down and walked into the house. I didn't know what he was going to do. It was just nothing but work. And he had just set up the pool and fell dead. And my mother was at the grocery store, came back to seeing no pool. And the entire thing was already, folded up and malleted down,
that
and
is
it
the
was
worst.
in the trash.
That was
and
the worst.
I know. And my father was so restrained. So God bless the man that could have lost his mind.
I've got to ask you this. Yes. God bless him. I got to ask you this question because we got to get to break. But did you end up putting a new pool in?
Of course. A new pool was up within a week.
Wow, that's quick.
Thanks. That's a good part of the story.
I love
too.
the happy ending to the story.
5 kids.
Yes,
Thank
smart.
you, Steve. Have a beautiful weekend.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Lisa calling from a week later. So that's a committed dad. He dealt with it. He didn't overreact. He didn't scream and yell. And I've seen near misses on pools, like people doing work. I used to, build decks around pools specifically, and I've seen some near misses with like nail guns and shovels and the like. It can happen, but boy, getting sucked out of a pool after it's all filled and you're already swimming in it, that's a big one. All right, I need 2 callers. Two callers for virtual baseball, sponsored by Siding Unlimited. 855-616-1620 is the number. 855-616-1620. Two callers with the potential to be entered in the drawing for a $500 gift card for the month of June. That's coming up after the break. It is 10:30 here from our Breaking News Center. Eric Bilstead.
Steve, we've been following some breaking news this morning. Authorities now confirming the ID of one of the two people that were killed in a small plane crash in Watertown earlier this week. This happened on Wednesday. We do know that one of the victims was an 8-year-old boy named Colin Strebe, attended Summit View School. The principal there confirming in a letter to parents that's been obtained by TMJ4 News. Authorities have yet to ID the other victim in that crash. There were two. Today is the day that hundreds of residents who lived in a recently condemned apartment complex on Milwaukee's North Side have to either join a class action lawsuit or take a buyout. Got to make a decision by the end of the day today. And the Justice Department has found that Minneapolis police engaged in a pattern of violating constitutional rights and discriminating against Black and Native American people. These findings coming out today follow an investigation that was prompted by the killing of George Floyd. Now, according to the DOJ, the investigation found that Minneapolis police officers used excessive force, including unjustified deadly force, and violated the rights of people engaged in constitutionally protected speech. Time now for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 5 to 34,413. The Nasdaq down 34 to 13,747, and the S&P up a fraction to 4426. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving time saver traffic. 94 eastbound, Highway 16 through the Zoo interchange and into the Marquette interchange is looking good. That is currently about a 17-minute trip, so looking good at the moment. 43 southbound and northbound, clear at the moment. There's been some road work being added there, but right now 43 north and south, north of the Marquette, is looking to be delay-free, though you might see some brake lights as you drive through the barrel there. 4145 southbound, Highway Q to the Zoo, that's on time at 15, and 94 northbound, Layton into downtown, that's a 7-minute commute that is delay-free. The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Less cloudy today and hazy, a high of 75. Tonight, clear sky, a low of 53. Saturday, sunny, a high of 81. Sunday, Father's Day, a high of 83. Monday is Juneteenth. It's a high of 88 on Monday. Tuesday, sunny and a high of 89 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, 59. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 1033.
In Wisconsin, making memories together is for everyone, whatever your ability. So here's to soaking up surf culture right here on Wisconsin's Fresh Coast. To making time for stargazing as a family. And to imaginations clear for takeoff. Here's to festies with besties. And singing along to your favorite song. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Start your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
You hear a lot of older people complaining about younger people, but you don't often hear about a Grandma Peggy who feeds strange teenagers breakfast before school on a Wednesday morning. If she is real, we need an army of Grandma Peggys in this city.
Dr. Michael Ziegler with a story of how God's love is being poured out just around the corner. This week on The Lutheran Hour.
Business insurance is getting more complex these days. To share his knowledge on the topic and its impact, I'm talking with Jeff Selisinski, VP of Insurance Operations at R&R Insurance.
Thanks, Vince. Today's commercial insurance market is more complex than ever, and it demands the sharp focus of your insurance advisor. After thousands of insurance agencies have sold or merged their businesses, R&R selected a different path. We've invested heavily in local talent in our 3 offices statewide, secured state-of-the-art technologies, advanced analytics, and benchmarking tools, and we invest in the communities where we work and live. If your current agent seems distracted, has been acquired, or you just haven't heard from them in a while, you need a new advisor.
So, Jeff, what's the solution?
With 48 years of stability, local family ownership, and deep industry knowledge, R&R Insurance will be focused on you and your success. And the best part, we're not for sale. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
The grass is cut, the hot dogs are hot, and the beer is ice cold.
Right indeed. Oh, baby, get up!
It's time for virtual baseball on the Steve Scaffidi Show. Brought to you by Siding Unlimited.
All right, let's play some ball on this Father's Day weekend. We're going to warm up the phone lines with Mike from Waukesha, Scott from Menominee Falls. Let's meet Mike first. Welcome, Mike.
Yes.
Are you a father?
Yes, I am.
All right, happy Father's Day weekend to you. In 30 seconds or less, tell us all about Mike from Waukesha. What do we need to know?
Mike is a truck driver. Loves fishing, hunting, camping, and going up north.
Love that. That's a classic Wisconsin answer. Let me ask you this question because you said you were a truck driver. Are Wisconsin drivers getting worse or better at navigating our freeways?
I think the cars are getting worse.
Completely agree. How about the truckers? They're doing it right?
Not all of them.
I love the honesty, Mike. All right, let's meet your opponents on this Virtual Baseball Friday. Scott from Menominee Falls. Hi, Scott.
Good morning.
All right, you sound like a very confident guy on this Friday playing Virtual Baseball thanks to Siding Unlimited. Let us know, what can you tell us? Are you a father, Scott?
Yes, I am. Father of two, work for the Department of Public Works in Brown Deer. Enjoy my life. Everything is good.
This is perfect. We have two hard-working guys doing real work, truck driving, DPW work. I love to hear that. All right, gentlemen, my illustrious producer and big-time sports guy, Brandon Snide, will lay out the ground rules. We're all assembling at home plates as the crowd cheers. Well, they're getting their bratwurst and drinking their beer, but picture that. American Family Field. We are going to read the ground rules, and then we're going to play some virtual baseball.
All right, gentlemen, happy Father's Day to each of you. There are two players, as we just heard. Today we have Mike, who's driving in Waukesha as our home team, and Scott in Menominee Falls as our visiting team. Each of them will get a separate set of 10 highlights. Each set will include an equal number of hits and an equal number of outs. They are numbered 1 through 10. You each get 5 selections. After those 5 selections, we only record the hit in the highlight, not the runs scored in the highlight. After those 5 swings, the number of runs tallied becomes your final score if there is a tie, which seems to be a trend. The home team, in this case, this will be Mike, will try to walk it off. And that is your ground rules for virtual baseball.
Thank you, Brandon Snide. All right, since Scott is the away team, he will be first at bat. You heard that. There's 10 clips here, 10 highlights. You got to pick 5. What's your first choice? Scott from Menominee Falls.
First choice is number 8.
Number 8, we have Rowdy Tillett.
Now we are running again. 2-2. Swinging a fly ball into right center. Playable.
Almost.
Man, he teased us on that one. All right, that's off to the slow start, as they say, the proverbial
Got the
slow
out
start.
of the way.
Yeah, you got the out of the way. Scott, what's your second choice?
Next choice will be number 3.
Number 3, we have Andrew Monasterio.
1-2 to Monasterio. Strike 3 called.
Ouch! 0 for 2 start here.
Slider just off the outside corner, and Jeff Nelson
All right, Scott. So, Scott, I don't think anyone has ever been held scoreless that I remember.
No.
So don't be the first one.
I'm not doing very good here.
So you got 3 at-bats left. Let's get some runs across the plate. What's your third pick?
Number 1.
Number 1, we have Bryce Terrain.
Comes right back with the 1-0 pitch, and it's a ground ball. Fair ball up the first baseline. Going to roll all the way into the corner. This is extra bases for Terrain. He's at second. He's streaking around and headed for third. Here's the throw. It's cut off.
All right.
Bryce Terrain with a
base
triple.
runner. So you have 2 at-bats left, a runner on third. You've got nobody across the plate yet. Got to get some runs on the board. Scott, what's your fourth pick?
10.
Number 10, we have Christian Yelich.
And the 3-1. Yelich, a line drive down the left field line. It's going to carry out there, and a jumping catch made by Happ. to end the inning. One of the best struck balls.
Scott,
we almost had a home run. Now you got a jumping catch to rob you of extra bases.
All right, so we're not going to count you out because you do get 5 at bats. So you can still get that run across. But what's your 5th and final choice?
We'll go with number. Did I say 7 already?
No.
Number seven, we have Christian Yelich.
De Leon brings it home. Swing and a fly ball deep to left field. Gallo back, track, wall, see you later.
Finally.
Home run. Christian
Scott
Yelich
saved himself there.
Hit it out to the opposite
All right,
field.
so you salvaged something out of that messy inning with 2 runs across the plate thanks to Christian Yelich and that home run. So, all right, good job, Scott. You had a rough start there, but you overcame it.
You found it.
So, Mike, hard-working, truck-driving Mike on this Father's Day weekend, same thing, 5 choices, 10 highlights. What's your first pick?
Let's go with 1.
Number 1, we have Brian Anderson.
Hit to center. Back Ruiz. Still back at the track. Caught it way up against the wall.
A lot of teasers today.
Yelich back to first.
All right. You still got 4 at bats. Let's see what you can do. You got to get 2 at least. 3, you walk them off. What's your second choice?
Number 5.
Number 5, Luis Urias.
2-1 pitch. This is a high drive out to left. Back at the track. Gone.
All right.
The Brewers go back-to-back here in the top.
Mike gets on the board. 2-1. Scott is still up. Mike has 3 at-bats left. A lot of hits out there. Some outs as well. Third choice, Mike.
Number 2.
Number 2, we have Blake Perkins.
And the pitch. Soft little line drive. Base hit into right center. And bobbled, and a run's going to score. And on to third.
Got a single there.
All important base runners. So you got 1 man on, 2 at-bats left. You're trailing 2-1. What you got next?
Number 4.
Number 4, John Singleton.
1 ball and no strikes. Singleton bounces one into left field, a base hit. Here comes Contreras. He's going to score.
All right. Getting him rolling now.
We have 2 runners on, first and second base. You have 1 final at-bat left. There's some outs left. There's also some big hits left.
There are some outs left. There are some big hits.
There's triples. There's a home run.
There's a lot.
All right, Mike, this is it. You're trailing 2-1.
We're going to go number 3 for 3 kids.
All right.
Number 3 is, you ready for this? Rowdy Tellez.
First offering to Tellez. Swung on and lifted into right center field. This is headed for the gap. Kiermaier lays out. It's off of his glove. It's going to roll all the way on the warning track over towards right field. Tellez is around second. He's chugging for 3. It's a triple for Big Randy.
He scores 2 runs on the Rowdy Tellez triple. Imagine if you had a fast guy. You might have had an inside-the-park homer. All right, that means that Mike beats Scott 3-2. That's some exciting baseball. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
All right, have a great Father's Day weekend. Mike, a come from behind. I love it. Great efforts. How you feeling right now, Mike?
Wonderful. The Brewers need a win.
Yes, they do. Well said. All right, so you not only won a WTMJ prize package, you never know what's in that thing, but you're now entered in one of the June drawings for a $500 gift card thanks to the great folks at Siding Unlimited. Take us to break, Brandon Snide.
And the wave making its way by us again. Right in front. Excuse me a second. Okay. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You hit your head on the ceiling, you.
I got up too quick. The spring in this chair has got to be readjusted.
I'm certified financial planner Tony Drake with Drake & Associates. If you're retired or looking to retire soon, have you developed a strategy to minimize or eliminate the taxes when you start pulling money out of your IRA or 401k? If you haven't, then you have a very vulnerable plan because taxes are going up in the future. And if you look at the spending our government does, taxes could rise even more. Find out what's missing in your retirement strategy by requesting a copy of my Retirement Ready Toolkit that's loaded with materials designed to help protect you from taxes. Call or text TAX to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting TAX to 414-409-9982 to get your free toolkit today.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
The only diamond more valuable than colorless
is the diamond that is colorful. Pink, yellow, and blue.
In 2016, Christie's auction house sold a 14-karat blue diamond for $56 million.
That's $4 million a carat.
In 2022, Sotheby's auction house sold an 11-karat pink diamond for $57 million.
That's more than $5 million a carat.
These diamonds were born when the Earth was born.
They come from the heart of the Earth.
But now there are also pink, yellow, and blue diamonds that were born when you were falling in love.
These created diamonds come from the fiery heart of a miniature sun blazing inside a plasma chamber. Hot, hot, hot.
Pink, yellow, and blue.
Your colorful 1-carat wonder awaits you for $12,000 or less.
Your colorful 3/4 carat miracle awaits you for $8,000 or less.
Get them while you can. Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Humans can do a lot of amazing things. Fighting bugs isn't one of them. STEM is powered by active ingredients found in plants to fight off bugs safely and effectively. Use as directed. STEM, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers.
Do you need to rent a bus for a corporate outing, baseball game, or a wedding? Milwaukee Bus Rentals has a bus for you. You may have seen our lime green buses driving through town. Now we have a fleet of black buses too. The rides are perfect for bachelorette parties, wedding shuttles, trips to the ballpark, and corporate outings. Milwaukee Bus Rentals can even plan a tour of Milwaukee to add to your bus rental if you'd like. The wheels on our buses do in fact go round and round all through the town. Book yours at MilwaukeeBusRentals.com.
You are a guaranteed winner with Siding Unlimited, Wisconsin's best contractor for your home's beauty and defense. Siding Unlimited is siding, of course, but so much more. Windows, roofing, decks. Siding Unlimited is recognized as the MVP in all those areas by customers and suppliers alike. You want major league work done on your house, so start by contacting Siding Unlimited. SidingUnlimited.com.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
That was an exciting edition of Virtual Baseball. Do it every Friday, 10:35. Thanks to the great folks at Siding Unlimited. I always wonder what's in that WTMJ prize package because they never tell me. I've heard shirts, mugs, various tchotchkes. You know what tchotchke means? Sort of like corporate logo stuff, you know, that kind of. So I think it's a Polish. Is that a Polish term? I think it is. Tchotchke.
You're not an autographed picture of you, or?
Here's a funny story about that. So twice, maybe 3 times in my radio career, someone has specifically asked for that. So we created them for that ask. So we took a picture. It's one of the standard pictures they use here at WTMJ of me. Actually, I think this is an old one. It's like 6 years old. My hair was still dark.
Is that with you and Billstead?
Yeah. And I sign it and usually send a note. 3 times it's been asked for. So I doubt if it's still in the mix.
Probably not. It's high demand. They probably sold out.
Yeah, I mean, a rare thing. I'll look for them on eBay. I've been asking for your favorite Father's Day memories and stories, and this is an interesting one from the 414. Steve, I'm one of 12 children, and the high school we go to always has their graduation on Father's Day. That's wild. I didn't know that was a thing. God bless my dad who spent 12 Father's Days in a high school gymnasium, which if you've ever been to one of those things, especially in the older days, hotter than Hades. Sweat fests. The kids were wearing swimsuits underneath their graduation gowns, and the parents were sweating it out with their dress clothing on. From the 414, happy Father's Day, Steve. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. John from Burlington, my dad passed in 2013. Miss him greatly. Taught all 4 of us hard work gets you ahead. My 2 brothers and I watched and learned so much that we rarely need to call service professionals. That's another big thing. Dads and moms, teach your kids stuff. A lot of us have apprehensions about doing things, especially when you're talking about like plumbing and electrical and all, and you got to be safe, obviously. Don't overestimate your ability to do things. But there are a lot of simple things you can do yourselves if you are willing to invest the time to learn how to do it. And that's the one amazing thing about technology. There's not a thing that you can't look up on YouTube. Even if you buy something, you have to assemble it. I guarantee there's a video that someone made of them assembling that very same item. And I've done this like 3 or 4 times in the last year. Super helpful. You see their foibles and their mistakes, and sometimes they show them to you, and you learn from it. So never be afraid to teach your kids. Let's see. A lot of Happy Father's Day. I appreciate all of those. From the 414, my dad had the best hugs. When he hugged me, I felt the love he had for me. No one ever hugged me like he could. That makes me sad. Man, that's a good one. Well done, you, 414. That's a good one. If you have some more, we'll take a break here. 855-616-1620. Love the Father's Day stories. Remembering dads, remembering all those fun things. And if you have a funny one, that's even better. I told you my one about wearing the ripped pants at a school event. Not my best day ever. Thankfully, it was kind of before the era where everyone had smartphones, because I'm sure someone would have captured that, and that would be embarrassing. And we've all been embarrassed. It's okay to be embarrassed. Learn from it. And I did. I always check my pants before I put them on. Quick break.
You're listening to the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ. Here's some pirate code for you scallywags. If a man should steal, he shall be marooned.
The second is in time. What a throw, what a tag.
And settle all disputes on shore.
Swinging a high, towering drive, Allegheny bound. Christian Yelich.
Our Brewers look to sink the Pirates this weekend. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:35. Presented by The Bull at Pinewood Farms. This is the home of the Brewers, WTMJ. Hard.
What if you could build a 6-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a 6-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and executive producer of a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It gives you more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you are over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money, call to get a free copy of this brand new movie, 1-800-578-3535. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free, plus 2 hours of bonus behind-the-scenes footage. No credit card required. Call right now. 1-800-578-3535. That's 1-800-578-3535. Again, 1-800-578-3535.
At Semper Fi, the path to self-improvement never ends. So it feels good to be good. It's been 20 years, and we'll make sure you feel like you made a great decision to have us work on your next exterior remodeling project.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Hey, Wisconsin, Greg Matzik for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac, where the summer road trip sale is on. Perfect timing to gear up for the adventures ahead, get more for your trade, and say yes to enticing offers on favorites from Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, or a GM-certified pre-owned model. Shop a rapidly expanding selection, explore what's new, treat yourself to a test drive, and experience Holiday's genuine guest care and refreshingly different, simplified buying approach. It's the stuff that delights drivers from all over the Badger State who have made Holiday Wisconsin's #1 Buick and GMC dealer and Buick Dealer of the Year. Accolades are per 2022 Buick and GMC Zone sales records. As a repeat customer and fan myself, I can say with confidence you are in great hands with Team Holiday on your side. So find yours and discover the difference during the summer road trip sale at Holiday Chevrolet, Buick and GMC, Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac, and online at holidaygm.com. It's worth the trip.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a good karma brand station. Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show.
Asking for your Father's Day memories and stories. Had some good ones today. From the 920, my dad always told me you could do anything I could do anything I could set my mind to. If I ever said I was afraid to do something, he would say, of course you can, just go. It's wonderful to hear those words in my head whenever I need them. That's a great, great advice, right? Do the right thing. Of course you can do that thing. I don't know if we do that enough of that now. I think, and again, a gross overgeneralization. We want to do everything for our kids. And we often forget that, making the mistake or trying something a few times before you succeed, like riding a bike, right? No one's getting on a bike and just taking off. You're going to fall a few times. And we've forgotten that trial and error, learning as you go method. And I think it hurts kids' development and necessarily doesn't get them ready for that next stage of life when you're a young adult, when you have to start making these decisions, not with a parent standing over you, but on your own. I think that's important advice. I question, kind of deviating from our topic a little bit, but it's an important one. Whatever happened to the Scaffidi and Bilstead picture that was hanging in the old Radio City halls? I know what happened to it. We gave it away to a listener. I don't remember what was it. That's what Steve said. I don't remember maybe it was a separate competition. But I know the person that has it, and it was signed by both of us, and it now hangs in a real estate office. So it's out there somewhere.
And I also had a caller call in Jim from Janesville to correct you, Steve.
What mistake did I make? Which is not the first time.
It's not. Was it tchotchke? Is that what you said?
Tchotchke.
He said it's Yiddish for knick-knack.
Is it Yiddish? I didn't say I was sure. I thought it was Polish. Yiddish.
I had to make sure he got that. He called in nicely. And
so Yiddish for?
Knick-knack.
Tchotchke, knick-knack. Tchotchke, knick-knack. See, I've learned something today. Now, just to give you a heads up, in the 11 o'clock hour, we're going to give away Summerfest tickets. Now, a little trickier today because I wasn't as demonstrative in my announcing of the keyword. And if I have to, I'll give clues, but I don't want to. So I mentioned at the end of the 9 o'clock hour twice in rapid succession. You have to know the keyword to win the Summerfest tickets. So sometime after If Steve Ruled the World, we're going to give away the final 4-pack of tickets to Summerfest, which starts next Thursday on our fantastic Great Lake front, on our fantastic Great Lake, in our fantastic great state like Wisconsin. See what I did there? Let's see. Steve, you are aware I'm a baseball field renovator. One of my sites is Notre Dame Academy, who hosts Brewers youth camps annually many years, starting the very day after Father's Day. Many times I had to prep that field alone on Father's Day, but the best one ever was when my wife and daughter showed up for the entire day to help me with that challenging work. Best Father's Day ever for me, Notre Dame in Green Bay. That's what I was talking about. You don't need a present. The present is the presents. Presence. That's the gift. It's like seeing your kids, seeing your dad, seeing your mom. That's the cool stuff. Let's see. That one has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about. How about this one? Unsolicited. You are amazing, Steve. How about that?
That was you, right?
No, I'm checking the number. Do I know that number? 262. I don't know that. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. One more sort of a sad one, but maybe not. My dad passed unexpectedly at 66 on the 18th hole while golfing. Wow. We all miss him as he was the best man. A friend to marry. The good Lord took him in style. Father's Day is always hard for me, but I thank God for a wonderful dad. Thanks for sharing that story. And that is hard and unexpected. And we've all heard stories like that, but your dad died doing what he loved. Golf is an amazing sport, and he was enjoying himself on the last hole. So thanks to all the folks for those. We'll try to weave a few more in before the end of the program, which is noon, before Jeff Wagner takes it over. Coming up after the break, a special, speaking of Summerfest, not yet, don't call yet. If Steve Ruled the World, a special edition, Summerfest edition. That's all coming up next after the news on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Advent founder Dr. Madan Kandula.
If you were formerly breathing properly and we just plugged your nose up, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it for a few minutes. You're not going to like it for an hour. You wouldn't stand it for a day. If we're talking weeks, you're going to be clawing at the walls to get that thing off. And if we're talking months to years to decades, many of our patients are basically walking around with clothespins on their nose and they don't know any difference. They've never experienced what life is supposed to be like when you breathe properly, and so for them, they feel like it's normal. It should be no surprise that many of the folks that we treat have downstream conditions. So if somebody's nose isn't working properly, if somebody's throat isn't working properly, they're not breathing properly. And when you don't breathe properly, it creates problems for your body.
When you breathe well, you live better. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment today.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Veterans benefits denied? Contact Tayback for the payback. Go to taybackattorneys.com.
Do what you want because a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
All right, you can stop swinging your sword. Our coverage of the Pirates' invasion of Milwaukee starts at 6 with Brewers warm-up. We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good morning, 11 o'clock. We have 60 degrees, decreasing cloudiness today. It'll be hazy with a high 68 lakeside, 75 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. The Department of Justice says the Minneapolis Police Department used excessive force and discriminated against residents. The investigation was launched after the death of George Floyd at the hands of former MPD officer Derek Chauvin in 2020. Today, Attorney General Merrick Garland said investigators found the department engaged in unconstitutional practices. Man charged with the murder of a black trans woman in Milwaukee says he's not in the right mind to stand trial. Cordell M. Howes pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity during his court appearance yesterday. Howes was charged back in March with one count of first-degree homicide in Henderson's death. Prosecutors allege Howes shot Henderson inside of her apartment before attempting to burn the building down. He was arrested a few days later. Due to his plea, Howes will undergo a competency exam before the case heads to trial. A 17-year-old Milwaukee boy facing attempted homicide charges for a fight earlier this month at the Green Bay Avenue School playground near 7th and Malvina, a fight that left the victim hospitalized and potentially disabled. Criminal report alleges Keivery Moore Frazier got upset with the victim during a basketball game and punched, kicked, choked, and stomped on his head. Moore Frazier was in court yesterday. The damage to a small town in the Texas Panhandle is extensive after a tornado touched down late yesterday.
Warnings had gone out across the Texas High Plains that tornadoes were possible into Thursday evening. Paul Dutcher is the fire chief in the town of Perryton, an hour northeast of Amarillo, and says the tornado touched down at about 5 p.m.
It trekked across town, had substantial damage to the other areas north and east of Main Street.
At least 3 people were killed and more than 50 were hurt. The search for 2 missing people went on through the night. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Today, hundreds who live in a recently condemned apartment complex on Milwaukee's north side have till the end of the day to either join in a class action lawsuit against the building's developers or take a buyout. TMJ4's Elaine Rojas Castillo.
Michael Surchak is representing the residents' rights in this case, and he says that those rights are being taken away by signing the lease agreement that's being offered by CWC. That agreement would end their current lease in exchange for $5,000. But adds that the offer would require residents to give up their rights to any future legal action if they have any illness as a result of the exposure.
The issue that folks were running into is that it's a very quick time frame to be able to make a decision as to what you want to do with respect to your rights and how to find a new place to live.
Residents have until today to sign that agreement and until the 27th to find a new place to live.
For the first time in 3 years, Milwaukee's lakefront will be covered in art. The Milwaukee Art Museum bringing back the Lakefront Festival of the Art this weekend. It'll be the first event since 2019. WTMJ spoke with the Art Museum's Courtney Kisslinger and Leah Piefler, who say some artists have been waiting years to show off their wares.
We're taking the artists that juried in 2020. So they have been waiting for years to get to the lakefront and show their fabulous artwork.
Festival starts today and runs through Sunday. News is sponsored by Annex Wealth Management's Money Talk, heard Saturdays at 10 right here on WTMJ. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
Hi folks, Cindy Storm Fisher and Julie Coombs here at Storm Fisher Investment Group with just one question. Are you happy with how your investments are growing? We've been helping people just like you for over 40 years, and we'd be happy to help you.
We have no agenda, no quotas to meet, and great relationships are our business. If you're looking for an advisory relationship like you've never had before, call us. Let's see if it's a great fit. Storm Fisher Investment Group, online at stormfisher.com.
See you soon.
Securities offered through Securities America Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Arbor Point Advisors LLC. Storm Fisher, Arbor Point, and Securities America are separate entities.
Thrifters can spot great deals from a mile away. And here the term great deal is an understatement. The lowest prices on men's, women's, and children's clothing. Toys, furniture, housewares, jewelry, and accessories. Bikes, books, games, and more. And every time you're here, you'll find something new. So if you're thrifty, you'll find this place is pretty nifty. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores, Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
Great prices, friendly associates, and brand names. That's what you'll find at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Right now, pick up a GPI 12 volts, 18 gallons per minute pump with auto nozzle filter kit. It's $549.99. And save on Purolator 1 and Mobile 1 oil filters. They start at $7.99. And mark your calendars. June is National Dairy Month. As a family-owned, community-focused business, Blaine's Farm and Fleet is proud to show their support for Midwest dairy farmers and their families. Be sure to show your support this June by attending a local dairy breakfast near you.
Here's to soaking up surf culture on Wisconsin's fresh coast. Here's to beaches designed for people of all abilities. To sand between your toes and happiness in your heart. Here's to trading skylines for endless Wisconsin shorelines. And to ending each day with smiles all around. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Start your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
There's nothing out there close to
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Following their day off on Thursday, the Milwaukee Brewers will try to snap their 6-game losing streak tonight at American Family Field as they get set to host the Pittsburgh Pirates for Game 1 of a 3-game set. Julio Teheran will look to get the crew back on track. Coverage of that game will begin at 6:35 right here on WTMJ. The 123rd U.S. Open got underway Thursday morning at the Los Angeles Country Club. Ricky Fowler with a share of the lead at 8 under par with Xander Schauffele after shooting a 62, breaking a U.S. Open record. And over to football, where the Green Bay Packers officially wrapped up their offseason program on Thursday.
You know, I thought we've had an outstanding offseason, so I'm happy with the progress that our guys have made.
Next up for the Packers will be training camp, which will begin on July 25th. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Looking Friday light and late this morning. 94 inbound from Highway 16 to the zoo, a typical 10-minute drive, and the zoo into downtown about 5. 43 from Brown Deer Road to the Marquette Interchange running about 10 minutes, and 94 northbound from Layton Avenue to the Marquette Interchange about a 6-minute commute this morning.
Traffic is sponsored by Harwood Place Senior Living. Learn more about Harwood Place Retirement Living's newly renovated apartments and updated pricing options. Visit harwoodplace.org or call to schedule a tour.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast: decreasing cloudiness today. Will be hazy with highs ranging from 68 lakeside to 75 inland. Tonight clear with a low 53. Mostly sunny tomorrow, highs 77 to 81. Warmer on Sunday, partly cloudy, highs 78 lakeside, 83 inland. Monday 79 to 88 under partly sunny skies. And Tuesday mostly sunny. We're in the 80s, lakeside 80 degrees for the high, 89 inland. Right now in Madison 60 degrees, Green Bay 57, and Milwaukee 60 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, here's Steve Scaffidi.
All right, lot to get to in this 11 o'clock hour. Don't forget, we're going to be a Summerfest ticket giveaway. If you know the keyword, we'll do that at a later point in this hour, maybe even this half hour. We'll see how I feel about it. Keyword that I delivered to you in rapid succession twice in the 9 o'clock hour. Hopefully you were listening. Also, a weekend review sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited, coming up, a weekly recap of the voices and events that you heard right here on WTMJ. And I thought long and hard, because producer Brandon Snide was telling me, why don't you do Father's Day for the FC World of the World? Well, I've been talking a lot about Father's Day. We talked about it with Eric earlier as I was filling in for, I don't even know who I'm filling in for because Vince wasn't there and he was filling in for it. So I was filling in for Eric even though Eric was there. It's kind of a weird concept, isn't it? But that's the reality. You know, there'll probably be a little extra in my pay envelope this week for the extra hour of the contribution to the program. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't count on that. And I'm not asking for that. So I thought, okay, so what else is going on? We got the Brewers. Frankly, they're a buzzkill right now. Not going to lie. I was at the game last week. They got up 3 runs right out of the gate, and then, boom, lost 6-3. So I said, let's leave that alone. So this week, we're going to do something different. And I only do it once a year because it's that time of year. Summerfest. So let's kick it off, producer Brandon.
Steve ruled the world.
All right, we've all been through a lot over the last few years. Pandemic, of course, politics, Brad Pitt. I just threw that in because I needed a P word. I had nothing to do with Brad Pitt. Well, he's been very successful in his career. Since this is a special Summerfest edition of If Steve Ruled the World, I'm going to ignore all the political BS and how dumb our elected officials are, their obvious ignorance of what voters really want, instead focus on a celebration of Summerfest, which is finally, well, not finally, but back where it belongs. We can argue about the weekend thing. I'm not good. This is a positive bit right here. Did you all know it started in 1968 and was somewhat inspired by then Mayor Henry Meyer's visit to Oktoberfest in Munich, Germany? How cool is that? It was originally held at 35 different locations across the city before settling at what is now Henry Meyer Festival Park, perfectly named. Over the years, it's seen performances by Paul McCartney, the Rolling Stones, Stevie Wonder, Aerosmith, and just about anybody else that matters in the world of music. Thank you, Bob Babish and Don Smiley. Known as the world's largest music festival, I would say it's the greatest music festival, and it surely lives up to that name. It's also a place on a hot day where attendees would be wearing everything from cut-off jean shorts, Daisy Dukes, tube tops, old Van Halen concert T-shirts, goth, cosplay, and just about every other fashion style popular since the 1960s, and that's just one day at Summerfest. I'm not going to go as far as saying most of the patrons dress to get attention, but I guess the best way to describe it for the rest of us is a what not to wear runway fashion show where the runway is miles of pavement along the Lake Michigan shoreline.
You can't handle the truth. If Steve ruled the world.
Thank you, Jack. One of the best things about having Summerfest in the actual summer is that the weather actually cooperates. This year, so far, so good. We're in the 70s, 80s sometimes. And by the end of a very long day romping around the grounds of Summerfest, you'll kind of look like you just took a shower, really. Sticky, you know what I'm talking about. Now, most of what passes for summer around these parts is typically conversations about which festivals you've been to and how much beer you drank last night. I'm a fan of both, trust me. But there's really more to summer than that. You want to really enjoy a summer and Summerfest? Try a wine cooler. How about shaking off the shackles of your addiction to Miller Lite or Busch Beer, whatever it is, Bud Lights, and trying an import or a local craft brewery? Stretch those alcohol wings a bit. Nothing says I'm afraid of change more than drinking the same beer every day, every year for the rest of your life. That's why we have so much division in this country. Inflexibility, resistance to change. And let's be honest, good old Squawk Radio brainwashing. But since I'm here to talk you off that political ledge, I'll give you my straight, unbiased, smart take on alcohol consumption. Quality matters. Less can be more. If it's 90 degrees and you're sitting outside in direct sunlight all day, I would add some good old H2O to the mix. Nothing says I can't handle my alcohol like passing out from dehydration. Don't be that guy.
That was my skull. I'm so wasted. If Steve ruled the world.
That's weed, but we get it. Thank you, Spicoli. I don't know if you're like me, and chances are you're probably not, but I'm ready for Summerfest this year. Think of it as a reward for good behavior. Unlike most of your friends who don't listen to my show, you don't overreact to things. You don't post crazy things on the internet. You don't pretend that the vaccine was worse than the virus. You went about your day, did your job, kept moving forward. Summerfest is your reward for that common sense approach. That's why you don't see the political crazies down at Summerfest. We all know they only come to Milwaukee to see the Brewers play, and if you asked them what the Calatrava was, you'd get a bewildered look with this song playing in the background.
If Steve ruled the world.
Damn, I love that song. This is one of those rules that probably shouldn't need to be said, but sometimes a little reinforcement is a good thing. Flip-flops are not an appropriate footwear for Summerfest. I said it. Flip-flops are not an appropriate footwear for Summerfest. Hell, the only place anybody should be wearing flip-flops is in their yard or on the beach. Nothing says I don't really walk much more than a conscious decision to wear flip-flops to a summer festival, which will require literally miles of walking in often high temperatures. While I'm on the subject, they're not appropriate for work either, unless you work on a beach. And if I want to see that much bad foot hygiene, I'll get a job at a nail salon.
Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Are we clear?
If Steve ruled the world.
All right, now one of the big factors at play this year with Summerfest and really any event is inflation, right? All the talk about recession, gas costs, thanks Joe Biden, and even the price of booze is being impacted. Some out-of-state visitors may say it's too expensive to drive to Wisconsin going to Summerfest. I say that's crazy. Let's say your trip costs you, $20 more for gas. Summerfest has multiple stages, incredible artists playing mostly for free. Now, math has never been my strong suit, but I'm guessing seeing and hearing the likes of a Rick Springfield, Todd Rundgren, KC and the Sunshine Band, or the Commodores, for absolutely zero cost. I have no idea if any of those folks are actually playing at Summerfest, by the way. Other than the price of getting to Summerfest pretty much offsets the expense of gas fill-up. Did you notice I picked artists that were all over 50 years old? Well, you could say that I'm out of touch, but you would be wrong. You could say that I understand modern music, but you would also be wrong. You could say that the new music is less about music and more about woke culture and appealing to a younger generation, which doesn't understand the nuance and significance of musical talent versus commercialization and marketing. That's hard to say. And I just ripped through that like nobody's business. And you know what? You would be right.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
If Steve ruled the world.
One of the coolest things about Summerfest is the relationships that have been born on the grounds. We all know somebody who met at Summerfest, dated, then got married, often divorced years later, but let's stay on the positive. Let's not blame society's failures on the greatest music festival on the planet. It starts with a casual glance on one of the side stages during the band's break, perhaps an offer of a beverage or two. Casual conversation, often awkward, but as the night goes on, fueled by alcohol and the passion of what might be a precursor to a night to remember. Memory of the night probably, but not the name of the person you spent the night with, but again, different story for a different day. It's part of our unique relationship here between festivals and romance of our brief but spectacularly hot summer. Come on, who hasn't had this experience? I dare you to find a person in southeast Wisconsin who doesn't have one or two of these hookups on their Summerfest dance card. It's the backdrop to some awfully good music.
Summer loving had me a blast.
Summer loving happened so fast.
I met a girl crazy for me.
Met a boy cute as can be.
Summer days drifting away to other summer nights.
Tell me more, did you get very far?
Tell me more, like does he have a car?
She swam by me. She got
If Steve ruled the world.
All right, little grease for you there. If you listen to the show, you know I love to talk about summer weather. It's a reason why we continue to live in this state. The opportunity to thaw out and unwind after a long, cold 6-month winters. Although climate change, I said 6 months on purpose, weather people. Although climate change might knock it down to about 4.5 in our lifetime, Summerfest is the centerpiece of a summer culture here in Wisconsin that celebrates shedding our coats, shedding our inhibitions, and hopefully shedding our political affiliations. If even for a moment, of course, that's always challenged by the rube who decides to wear his Let's Go Brandon t-shirt to Summerfest. Here's something for all the Let's Go Brandon fans out there. The former presidents of the United States with a rather unique take on walls, paints, and hot temperatures.
You see the wall there, you see the wall here, and they have to get a paint job on the wall. It doesn't sound very elegant, right? The wall is a steel wall with very powerful concrete, 5,000-pound concrete in each bollard. And then in that you have rebar, very powerful rebar. It's very, very hard to cut, very hard to do anything about. And we have to get that painted now. They have to paint it. Because if they don't paint it, bad things are happening. I'm looking, and it has to be painted. And the best color to paint it is black. Because if you paint it black, it's so hot, nobody can even try to climb it. Not that they're successful anyway. Those are anti-climb panels on top, which I didn't want to do, but they said, sir, we need them, and they are great protection.
If Steve ruled the world.
So much sense or so much nonsense? You decide. A short one as we head to the stretch. As I said, summer and Summerfest is a chance to relax unwind, just enjoy some great music on a great lake with friends, family, and about 100,000 other people who really just want the same thing. To forget about all the other nonsense swirling around our heads. It's a festival designed to lower your blood pressure, raise your spirits, and chill your soul, all in the heat of a summer day in Milwaukee. And I know he's a Jets. Damn you, Aaron Rodgers, but I think he had it right.
5 letters here, just for everybody out there in Packerland and yourself today. RELAX. Relax.
If Steve ruled the world.
I'll end it this way. Summerfest returns to the summer this year where it should be. And it did last year, too. Weekends only for sure, but I get it. With the promise of incredible performances, new relationships, and an enthusiastic, symbolic, post-pandemic, post-Trump, optimistically speaking, middle finger for all the BS we've had to put up for the last few years. Here's a return to normalcy. Here's for that. From festivals, to politics, and everything in between. That is this week's
If Steve ruled the world.
Take us to break, Brandon.
Summertime is finally here. That old ballpark man is back in gear out on 49. Man, I can see the lights. School's out and the night's rolling, man. Just like a long lost friend you ain't seen in a while. You can't help but smile. And it's 2 bare feet on the dashboard. Young love and an old Ford, cheap shades and a tattoo and a yoo-hoo bottle on the floorboard. Perfect song on the radio. Sing along, cause it's one we know. It's a smile, it's a kiss, it's a sip of wine, it's summertime. Sweet summertime.
Hi, it's Brian Noonan from WTMJ Nights. I've got some big news. Starting now, you can download WTMJ Nights wherever you get your podcasts. That's right, you can enjoy our nighttime fun anytime you want. Find WTMJ Nights on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Local news, national stories, random silliness. You'll get a bit of everything on WTMJ Nights. So join me, Brian Noonan, weeknights from 6 to 9 here on WTMJ, the WTMJ mobile app, or wherever you get your podcasts. WTMJ Nights. Listen whenever and wherever you want.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Heiser. I love talking about Heiser. I had a 4-year relationship, and before that, I bought a car from Heiser. That's why I talk about them in the way I do. I'm driving currently a pre-owned 2021 Lincoln Corsair. I want to get that experience, see what that's like for drivers and buyers who want to see what the pre-owned experience is like. Well, I've enjoyed it. Lincoln is the best ride, the smoothest ride. The Corsair has incredible gas mileage, 28 on the highway, by the way. You get a certified pre-owned vehicle, which means 6-year, 100,000-mile comprehensive warranty coverage, 200 points of inspection, full vehicle history report, 24-hour roadside assistance. And oh, by the way, they throw in a full tank of gas, fresh oil, and new wiper blades. You want to see what I'm talking about? HeiserLincoln.com or go to one of their 5 great locations. What else are they doing at Heiser? A lot of things. No hidden market adjustment fees, and you will never pay over MSRP. Matter of fact, you'll pay under. That's why they say every day at Heiser, today's your day.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. I always thought Vince Lombardi came up with that famous sports nugget, but it turns out he borrowed it from a college coach. And now I'm going to borrow it too. Because when there are 10 or 20 offers on a property, there's only one winner. In today's inventory-starved real estate market, you need a Lombardi-level mortgage coach, one who has all the best plays in the playbook. Going with your bank for your pre-approval is like playing in a professional playoff game with the JV coach at the helm. The Lombardi-level coaches at AccuNet are called senior loan consultants, and each one has been trained by me to help you and your real estate agent work as one team to deliver the one and only thing that matters, winning. So if you've been losing with your flimsy bank pre-approval, trade up today to a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval and a Lombardi-level game plan. And if you're just getting started, why not start with the best? Click on the blue button today and get started with your winning game plan at ACCUNET.com.
When severe weather strikes, you can count on WTMJ's Fleet Farm severe weather coverage to keep you safe and informed.
Tornado warnings in effect for Jefferson and Walworth counties. I'm on Highway 11 now. For the last 5 minutes or so, it's been just an immense lightning storm.
If you're in Delavan, go to a place of shelter now.
Severe weather coverage on WTMJ. Sponsored by Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
On a hot summer day, when I walk through that door, I want to feel that cold air. Because we both know that is a great feeling. This is Anthony Zanevsky with Quality Heating. There's going to be a day when that AC of yours just isn't cranking like it used to. And that's when you want someone there fast, fixing it right the first time, because they've been doing it a long time. 20 service techs with over 20 years of experience. When you're in an AC emergency, see the man in the red van.
Quality heating, quality heating.
The true variable speed capacity compressor on the Armstrong Air Pro Series is for the AC fanatic. Rather than running at 1 or even 2 speeds, this compressor changes its speed in small, precise increments and adjusts cooling up and down like a dimmer switch, so temperatures are held exactly where you want them, even in extremely hot weather. If you're an AC fanatic, this is the unit you want.
You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality heating, quality heating.
Life is short, and if we spend our time suffering with pain and it takes away our joy, that's not a very good way to live.
He's right. It's hard to be happy when you're in constant pain. QC Kinetics patient Chad admits the chronic pain in his knee really robbed his quality of life.
When I was going to the traditional doctor and getting the pain pills, my smile wasn't as big as it usually is. Going to my high school reunion on crutches, it was awful.
But then Chad visited QC Kinetics. He experienced the real power behind natural regenerative treatments. Using healing properties from his own body, QC Kinetics was able to restore and repair damaged tissue, finally giving Chad lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime.
And I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
Learn how advanced regenerative medicine can help your body heal itself at QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Hope you enjoyed that. That's what Steve said. No, it's Steve Ruled the World. Yeah, even I get confused sometimes. But kind of a look at Summerfest. There's a lot of political, cultural snark thrown in. Even some conversation about the beer wars and all that stuff. Hope you enjoyed that. We've been entertaining your stories and memories on Father's Day weekend as we get ready to launch into that this weekend from the 414, and you can share them at 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talk and text line. From the 414, I grew up in the 50s and 60s. Our dad was super quiet, not athletic, quite smart. He worked hard, and we were well taken care of. After he passed, our mom revealed that it was our dad who always wanted to get us, in quotes, one more toy while Christmas shopping, the first to urge her to call the doctor if we were sick, always behind the scenes. He was the best. Thankfully, we always felt his love. I love dad's stories. And, I shared this on Twitter this morning as part of my show poll, and I'll read the results so far in a second. But not all, and a couple people quickly reminded me, and I was expecting it, but it was kind of stunning when I saw it. Not everybody had great dads, and I get that. And nothing, as I often say on the show, is absolute. So there's always going to be that, sort of disclaimer, right? You hope that dads are going to be the best and great examples, but that's not always the case. So I acknowledge that, and thanks a couple of people for reminding me about that. So I simply asked in the show poll today, and if you're not on the Twitter, or the Twit as I like to call it, you can share your thoughts on the Old National Bank talk and text line, 855-616-1620. What's the best thing about your dad? And I gave you a few choices, and you can create your own. Great role model, 30% of you have said that. Always there for me is the leader right now with 45%. And I got a lot of this on the text line. His sense of humor, 14%. And as I said, I think the best dads are all of those things. And I wanted you to think about that because, like a lot of holidays, and I made this point earlier, like a lot of holidays, We sometimes forget what the holiday's about. And it becomes, as I said, presents, the PRESENTS version, versus the PRESENCE version. And I like the latter. Todd says on Twitter, all of the above, my father is all these things and more. At almost 90 years old, he's still the go-to person in my life. Thanks for sharing that. So for all the fathers out there on this day, on this weekend, well done. Nobody's perfect. Nothing is absolute, as I often like to say. All right. After the break, in the next half hour, we have a couple things to do. Weekend Review, sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited, at some point in the next half hour. Also, we are going to give away a 4-pack of Summerfest tickets. That's all coming up in the next half hour. So pay attention. I gave the keyword earlier. I'm not going to...
What if I get the keyword?
No, you don't get the tickets.
I've never been to Summerfest.
Seriously?
I've never been.
How is that even possible? Didn't you grow up here?
Well, I left when I was 18 for the Army. I didn't come back until 2019, but it was in July. And then, as we all remember, that following summer, there was no Summerfest. So maybe this year.
Well, you have a good you had a good reason to not come. I promise that I will get you tickets for free tickets for Summerfest.
Okay, I'll hold you to that.
I'm not giving you anything because they're free upstairs. But, you know, I can take credit for it if I want. All right, so we will do all of those things in the next half hour. Before we get there, though, we have to get to the news. It's 11:31 here at our Avenue Studios in downtown Milwaukee. And here with the news is Connie Weber.
Thanks, Steve. 2 killed in a plane crash in Watertown Wednesday. The 4-seat plane went down in Brant Quirk Park around 9 o'clock in the morning. Not clear why. Park will be closed through the weekend. A construction worker remains in critical condition at a hospital in Green Bay after being hurt yesterday while working on a project near the scoreboard at Lambeau Field. Worker was trapped for roughly 30 minutes before being freed. Pope Francis has been discharged from Rome's Gemelli Hospital. The 86-year-old recovering from abdominal surgery. The pontiff left the hospital in a wheelchair and spoke with well-wishers and medical staff who'd gathered outside the entrance to say goodbye. The Supreme Court still has not issued rulings on 2 major issues. Decisions on cases involving affirmative action and President Biden's student loan debt relief plan were not included in today's release of opinions. There are still 18 opinions to be released for this term, with the next batch scheduled to be handed down on Thursday. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed picture on Wall Street right now. The Dow is up 44 points. The S&P 500 is up 8. The NASDAQ Composite is down 6. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Taking a look at your roads now with your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Things still looking good out there on the freeways. 4145 southbound from Highway Q to the Zoo interchange, about a 13-minute drive. 94 inbound from Highway 16 to the Zoo, about 10, and the Zoo into downtown, about 5 minutes this morning.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Veterans benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Brave Americans who served shouldn't be denied benefits or have a disability claim incorrectly evaluated by the VA. If you're one of those vets, call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Decreasing cloudiness today. Hazy with high 68 to 75 inland. Clear tonight with a low 53. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a high 77. Lakeside 81 inland. Then we get warmer from there. Sunday partly cloudy. Monday partly sunny. And Tuesday mostly sunny. Sunday's high 78 to 83. Monday 79 to 88. And Tuesday Lakeside it'll be 80 for the high. 89 inland. Right now in Milwaukee we're at 60 degrees and in Appleton 60. I'm Connie Weber. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:33.
All right, get those fingers moving. We are going to give away that 4-pack of Summerfest tickets, which begins next Thursday in Milwaukee along our beautiful Lake Michigan. 855-616-1620. Hope you're paying attention 9 o'clock hour, because that keyword is the key to getting the 4-pack of tickets. So start dialing 855-616-1620.
Eric Bilstead from Wisconsin's Morning News for J.D. Griffiths. For more than 75 years, J.D. Griffiths has been a leader in detached garage builds and premier garage doors. My wife and I have a house about 20 years old. We knew it was time. It needed an upgrade. The doors in the front of the house just looked a little dingy, banged up, so we went to jdgriffiths.com. That's the website, jdgriffiths.com. We got a free at-home estimate, and away we went. Just a few weeks later, brand new doors, and they look great. We were able to customize. We got a great look there. We have some windows now, so I get some nice natural light. And the garage doors are just one of the many things J.D. Griffiths does. They also, remember, detached garage builds as well, and they'll even service issues you're having with your garage doors currently. J.D. Griffiths and jdgriffiths.com. Go to the website now. Get your free at-home estimate set up. J.D. Griffiths and jdgriffiths.com.
In Wisconsin, our festivals and events are in full swing all summer long. Here's to seeing legendary golfers at the U.S. Senior Open Championship in Stevens Point, to joining thousands of your closest music-loving friends at Summerfest in Milwaukee, and to wondering, where art thou, Romeo, at the Wisconsin Shakespeare Festival premiere this summer in Eau Claire. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Find more summer events at travelwisconsin.com.
When you see our selection of gently worn brand name girls and women's clothing, you'll love what you find, and you'll love the prices. So low that you won't believe your eyes. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, you'll find something cute, maybe a whole new outfit, for so much less. Gently worn brand name clothing at far below retail. You're gonna love it. On Highway 100 at Layton and Greenfield, and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
All right, we're going to find out if people are listening in the 9 o'clock hour. But gave it out twice in very rapid succession. The keyword is the tickets, or the key, I should say, to win the tickets. 4-pack of tickets to Summerfest, which begins next week. Let's start with Mary from Kenosha. Hi, Mary from Kenosha.
Well, hi, Steve.
How are you on this Friday?
I'm doing good.
All right. Were you listening in 9 o'clock hour?
I was.
So what is the keyword to win the 4-pack of tickets to Summerfest, Mary?
Tell you true, is it champagne? I wasn't sure what you were saying. Was it champagne?
So
Champagne?
You're close.
Champagne?
You're close, Mary. So I'm gonna stretch this out a little bit. So, what does that represent? The name that you're trying to say. What does that represent?
Oh, I have no idea.
All right, we got to let you go. Patty calling from Watertown. Okay. Was I too hard on Mary? I don't think so. Mary, good luck next time. Patty from Watertown. What was the keyword that I gave in the 9 o'clock hour?
Chapin, Harry Chapin.
Harry Chapin, yes. See, I could have been a stickler there, Patty. Patty, you won a 4-pack of tickets to Summerfest. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling excited. The last time I was to Summerfest was to see Tina Turner in 98 or 99.
Wow, that was a great concert. Remember the concert?
It was the best concert I've ever seen, honestly.
Well, you are the lucky recipient of a 4-pack of tickets, so enjoy the experience. Enjoy the return. Hopefully, you get to see some music that you like. So let's get Patty's information. And Mary, call back from Kenosha. Call back, Mary. We'll do something for you. I don't want to be that strict on this, but I wanted to be fair to all the callers. See, I'm like vetting all this on the air. But Mary, call us back. We'll figure something out. All right. So I was asking for Father's Day stories, memories. And a lot of people, let's be honest, their dad's not around anymore. So a lot of interesting stories. Carol, my father was a good provider and did the best he could. A strong work ethic was one of his best qualities. He once cleared 3 acres of land by himself, removing huge boulders, etc., then sold it. He made swings for us in the trees. We had fun watching and picnicking there. He made a whistle out of a metal can and used it to whistle or carry a tune. He had a good ear for music. I love those kind of stories. Those are dad stories. One of the things that I'm getting a lot of Happy Father's Day, and thanks to everybody that's sharing that. And I will share that with my dad this weekend as well. It's a special weekend for all of us who have been fathers and who have had the ability to raise children. And it's never been harder than it is now. So as much as I occasionally on this show criticize parents and parenting, I get it. It's hard. And I've always argued that, you got to be all in. You can't be, scattered. You have to be consistent. And there's a lot of challenges. Eric and I were talking yesterday and today in the 8 o'clock hour. I was filling in while Vince was on vacation, and the challenges of social media. Can't even imagine what that's like for parents. One, just the basic decision to give your kid a smartphone, a phone, a connection to all this world out there that doesn't necessarily have your kid's best interest in it. And so that's just day one of that process. And then you got to figure out, what are they doing on it? Who are they interacting with? And in the case of some of the sad stories that Eric told us about, it didn't end well. So parenting is never easy, and being a dad is never easy. So I also want you to think about that as we go through this weekend. Lynn says the bad dad jokes that are popular now remind me of my dad, who would tell those groaner jokes, even though he passed away 25 years ago at the age of 62. Thanks for that, Lynn. I appreciate that. All right, so after the break, we're going to do something we do every Friday. It's the Weekend Review, and I love this segment. And trust me, it's not easy to put it together, and I don't. It's the producers that do it, and specifically Adam. But it's a great way to kind of get a sense of what we were talking about this week, the stories that mattered, the voices we heard, and kind of a retrospective on all the things that were swirling around the week that was. And that's why I love this segment. So we'll take a break, and after the break, we'll get to the Weekend Review, sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
It's one of the most critically acclaimed superhero films of all time and features an Oscar and Grammy-winning soundtrack. And now you can experience Marvel Studios' Black Panther in a whole new way with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra as they perform Ludwig Göransson's score live to picture at the Bradley Symphony Center June 23rd through the 25th. Visit MSO.org right now to reserve your best seats or call the box office at 414-291-7605. Follow T'Challa's epic journey as he clashes against Killmonger for both peace and his rightful place on Wakanda's throne, all while surrounded by the gorgeous beauty of a former movie palace. Marvel Studios' Black Panther Score with Film runs June 23rd through the 25th only. Call for tickets 414-291-7605 or visit MSO.org.
A wiser way to build your wealth.
A wiser way to build your wealth starts with choosing a financial planning firm that is fee only, because it means they work for you. Fee-only firms like Financial Strategies, Inc. don't work for a bank or brokerage firm or an insurance company or mutual fund company, because we don't want our decisions for your best interest compromised in any way. We work for you, and only in your best interest. And fee-only means the success we care about most is yours. Ask your advisor, are you 100% fee-only for 100% of your clients 100% of the time? If they answer no, get a second opinion. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm. And I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to FinancialStrategiesInc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
Hunger Task Force is Milwaukee's free and local food bank and Wisconsin's leading anti-hunger organization. We deliver dignity, justice, equity, compassion, and stewardship. Visit hungertaskforce.org to donate, volunteer, or raise your voice to end hunger in our community.
Legend has it, Spanish conquistador Ponce de Leon searched for the legendary Fountain of Youth. This wellspring had the power to restore new life to anyone who drank from it. Poor Ponce chased this miracle from Florida to Bimini and back without any success. Eric Smith here, and yes, the secret to a longer life can be, well, elusive. Unless that is, you know exactly where to look. When it comes to your home's air conditioner, the gurus at Austin Plumbing, Heating, and Air hold the secret treasure map. The magic here is in training and expertise. We won't bang on your AC with a broom, tell you everything's hunky-dory, and then take your money. Instead, we'll take your machine apart, examine it, lubricate it, restore it back to factory specifications. Basically, explore ways your air conditioner can be more energy efficient so you can experience worry-free, cool comfort all summer. In the quest for your air conditioner's fountain of youth, book a revitalizing tune-up from Austin Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Online at teamaustin.com.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Join WTMJ Sandy Max and the American Red Cross for our WTMJ Cares event, the Milwaukee County Zoo Blood Drive. Donate blood during this 3-day drive, Monday, June 26th to Wednesday, the 28th, to help boost the supply of necessary blood during this shortage. Plus, if you register for the events, get this, you get free zoo admission, and we're just talking about this, tickets to Summerfest. Summerfest tickets are available while supplies last. For more information and to sign up, this is important. Text the word blood, B-L-O-O-D, B-L-O-O-D, to 855-616-1620. It's WTMJ Cares with our very own Sandy Max with the help of Gruber Law Offices. Text the word blood, 855-616-1620. All right, we do this every week on the program. This week is no different. A former president arraigned in Miami. A woman from Ecuador returns from the dead. A shared revenue agreement in Madison and more. It's the Week in Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
What we do here is go back.
Legendary hard rock band Kiss is returning to Wisconsin for what will likely be their final concert in the state later this summer.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a police standoff is currently underway at an apartment near 84th and Marion in Milwaukee.
Hours of that, only to find out the suspect, police say, was not inside.
There's still nobody home.
Now the 3-2 swung on, a pop foul back here.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Happening right now, former President Donald Trump turning himself into a Miami courthouse.
Former President Trump's inside a federal courthouse in Miami. They processed his arrest. He's hearing charges against him in the classified documents case.
The decision to pursue charges against President Trump while turning a blind eye to others is emblematic of the corruption that we have here.
We saw one dressed in like a prison jumpsuit, and some of the president's supporters actually surrounded him. They swarmed him, and police had to step in, break it up, and make sure that that person was safe.
We need people who are running for office and are involved in office that turn the temperature down and try to find consensus and get the job done that people pay us to do, and not focus on throwing more gasoline on the fire.
There's a growing perception among the American people that there is a double standard, and there's been real clear abuses of power in recent years that have caused people to mistrust the government.
The police have to constantly change and move and grow and do all these things, and the public gets to act a fool, gets to shoot and kill each other. Can we protest about the kid, the 1-year-old that died, instead of protesting against the police? No, we don't do that.
Damn! Everyone's bowing their heads, one by one walking up, crossing, perhaps, taking a moment to remember her. And then they hear,
I'm in here!
Get me out of here! Watertown police investigating a fatal plane crash near Brant Quirk Park.
I was just mowing my lawn, and then I felt this huge boom, and felt it in the ground. It shook beneath me.
Records show the plane was heading to a small airport in northern Wisconsin.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, the news is from Madison, where the state Senate has passed the shared revenue proposal negotiated last week.
I've got an update on the progress of the shared revenue bill in the Wisconsin legislature. It is now passed the assembly.
Right now, we're going to talk to the governor of the great state of Wisconsin, Tony Evers, who joins us on the phone.
I sensed after the last election that there seemed to be more willingness to have conversations. From that, that's how we've got to where we're at.
It is my honor to do what's right by our kids. But I also want to say that was some bullshit.
The bill will allow the Milwaukee Common Council and the Milwaukee County Board to approve sales tax increases.
Anytime that there's been a question about the city's ability to continue on, to remain solvent, to not get trapped into a financial death spiral, the Common Council has stepped up and answered that question and taken that vote.
What I hope happens is they don't Thelma and Louise in the car off the cliff, and that they look at that there is no room now to kick this fiscal can down the road. It's really going to go off the cliff.
A construction worker at Lambeau Field is said to be in critical condition after what is being called a serious incident.
Here's the 2-2. Strike three. It's over. The Whitefish Bay Blue Dukes, Division I state champions.
For any parent who gets to watch their kids